Yeah, dude, it has to be done. It has to be done. One of these days he might actually join. I think he's gonna show up one day. What's up? Good to see ya. Happy Tuesday, guys. How are your Tuesdays going? Whoa. Wait, really? He did? No way. Oh, what? No, man, that's crap. Well, not crap, but damn. Is he just out, or is he gonna make someone new? Oh wow. Okay. What the fuck is gonna happen to you guys then? Everybody's joining us then. Everybody's joining us. I was just trying to join the side that like needed somebody else to fill it. At this point, I should just switch. Sheesh. Oh well, it's gonna be fun. Okay. So I just put this in one more place too. Okay. Oh, well. Sorry, we're starting a little bit late. The real answer there is I was asleep. But, it was like a planned sleep, though. It wasn't like I overslept the start of ToG Tuesdays. It was like I fully intended to sleep through the beginning of ToG Tuesdays. It's been a long day. Here we go, though. We're getting some... We have Dark Change Baum, finally, in the flesh. Effortlessly firing a new... You know, I would say black Shinsu beam, but it looks more like a blue Shinsu beam at white. And he's got the loops now. I don't really understand what these loops do. Like, I don't know what the purpose is. It just seems like kind of some extra Shinsu that couldn't be contained. The Shinsu's property has changed. The Shinsu is investing in some real estate. It's changed its property. Yeah, the ringed Shinsu beam. It really is just an old god's technique. The sapphire single shot. Wait, okay, wait. So this is the white style lethal move. Sapphire single shot. But, okay, but I don't even know what his thing looks like. I don't even know what his single shot looks like. You can't see it. Is it... Or, no, I think I see... Is it... It's this slash. It's this giant slash. What makes it sapphire, though? It's just a regular slash. Oh, it has... Oh, wait, no, this is Baum's attack, too. So Baum kind of, like, counters it. He does his own counter hand wave Shinsu slash. The swipe of a hand. I must have awakened something. Oh man. Yeah, I wonder what. This is kind of crazy. He's like whipping it around. He's like using the Shinsu as a whip. I don't know why he's taking it all over the place, but you know, he has to. He does what he must. Okay. We have Aguero meeting his end as the train pulls into the station. I love this guy. Have we... Wait, is this even... Yeah, I guess this is the latest chapter. So we have some sarcasm here. Moron. I feel like we covered this chapter already. I don't know... I don't think we did, but I feel like we did. And then... Okay. Let's see. Oh, is this what I think? Is this the chapter I think it is? I probably just read this one like 5 times trying to figure out what was going on. So we have Nanatona failing to kill Aguero, which, you know, obvious. I mean, he got away. Of course he got away. Of course he got away. Aguero's just fine. Not even a scratch on him. Good thing he put up bait lighthouses from the beginning. So Aguero's just, you know, realizing... Oh, yeah. That might be what it is. That might be what it is. Alright, good. He planted various traps. So, you know, I mean, what I kind of like here is that, you know, Aguero... I feel like this was a kind of a balanced ploy. So, like Aguero did, you know, like, the guy didn't kill Aguero. Nanatona didn't kill Aguero. But at the same time, like, Aguero's cover has been blown, essentially. So, like, Nanatona could find him and kill him pretty easily now if he didn't get some help. So, obviously, he's gonna get some help, probably. But, you know, it's a little bit dangerous for him. I can appreciate the situation a little bit. I don't know what a wave trap is, though. I don't really know what, like, this is. I guess this is, like, the decoy lighthouses. Damn you, scam. I'll kill you. He's been scammed, dude. I feel like that meant to say scum. So we just get more of Baum standing here, bringing someone back from the dead. What kind of sorcery? What sorcery is this? I feel like Baum didn't use... Well, maybe... I don't think he used a spell there. I don't know. How did... Are we gonna figure out how he revived Arya this chapter? Let's see. So, in the short moment... Alright, I guess this is it. In the short moment before White fully absorbed Arya's soul, Baum put her body back together and returned her soul to the body. But I love that, but it makes no sense. It's very funny. Okay, ultimately let that impossible thing happen was likely her rule evasion. She definitely delayed recognizing her death, which allowed her soul to settle after being put back. Alright, so the answer here is it's bullshit. Okay, so White's answer, I think this is a little bit comforting. So the answer here is that it is bullshit. Like SIU can't actually properly explain what has happened here. It's BS. He just needed to have Baum revive this girl to pull off a miracle or some shit. That's what it's reading like to me. SIU's like, it had to be done. Just don't worry about it. But they say it was due to her rule evasion. So, unless... I get, in my opinion, so, like, people were really scared that Baum can just revive his allies. Now, I've seen people complain for a long time. I love the NPC theory, myself. I'm, like, a huge proponent of that. Yeah, exactly. Like, he's saying it's only possible with Arya. It's only possible with Arya's rule evasion. Like, if he had Uriah, if Uriah was the one with him, like, he wouldn't have been able to evolve Uriah. Dude, I believed in that longer than Bones has been reading Tower of God. I'm telling you that right now. I believed in that for, like, so long. So, I think it's I agree though that it's only possible with Arya. If it was Uriah, all he would have been able to do was like catch White sword strikes or something. Like he would have been able to do that. That's the only thing he would have been able to do that's different. I started reading. No, I don't know. It might not have been that long, but I started reading around. Let's see. I think. It was the beginning of Daller Show, is when I started reading. It was like fall of 2015. That was when I started. Yeah, it was fall of 2015. But ever since, probably since around Hidden Floor. When I was like, because people started saying, it was when people started saying that like the hidden floor is like a microcosm of the tower that I was like, oh, that means all regulars are actually made of Shinsu. It just clicked, dude. It just clicked with me. Anyway, but you know, I don't know how I feel about like Baum and shorts and the crop top. I don't know if I like that like style for him. I think SIU is supposed to be making him look raw here, but he doesn't look raw here. He does kind of look JoJo-ish. Wow, Baum is the Messiah. Dude, the Dark Messiah Baum? But that's not true. Your true nature is not that. That's kind of hype, actually, if that would be true. He is kind of... Look at that. I like how, this is kind of like a white point of view here. We see, like, darkness around Baum. That's kind of cool. How dare you wag your finger... Some of the dialogue in this has been really good. How dare you wag your fingers in front of me? Oh my god. He kind of looks like White here, in my opinion. Like, he's got, like, White's... Do you see it? Like, do you guys see it? He's got... it's hard to see. He's got, like... His eyes get closer to White's, in my opinion. He has, like, this more relaxed expression. He has White's face right now. It's pretty crazy. In a single blow again. Dude, I'm like getting stuffy now. I don't know why. Dude, I get in front of this, I get on this chair, and I immediately, my nose starts stuffing up. There's a clear difference in the Shinsu density from before. The Enryu-shaped eyes. Alright, they look like they're gonna kiss. This is one of those like Hades Hera chapters. But which one is Hades? Since when did he physically get stronger as well? So he just kind of dashed up to him and that. He just punched. Is he punching the sword? Is he punching his sword? White is Hades, I guess. No, he's not even punching the sword. He's palming the sword. Oh, he's okay. Yeah, I kind of like that. I think I like that. I think I like that. I think that's kind of cool. Baum is, you know, spell breaking a little bit. He's consciously spell breaking. If what I think is happening, well, it's not really a spell, but he's like, you know, he's kind of reverse flow controlling the sword. What is he doing? Like, is there, it's semantics as to what exactly he's doing, but he's kind of reverse flow controlling the sword right now, isn't he? He's using that to we've seen such a variety of techniques from Baum. I appreciate that in the combat. In rotten water. It's decaying in rotten water. Baum's acid Shinsu? The black acid Shinsu? Look at that. You know, honestly, the thing about White's sword becoming dull is I feel like shouldn't he just be able to, like, he strikes really hard, you know? Like, shouldn't he just be able to, like, he could at least be like blunt force trauma bomb to death, you know, just like he could use it as a bat, you know, even if it's not a sword. I like how the bottom of Baum's pants are still there. That's a really creative touch from SIU. It's like wide socks. Weren't these special clothes for Baum too? What the fuck were these clothes supposed to help with anyway? Why couldn't he restore his clothing? To stop my blade with bare hands. We haven't even got... This is actually a White point of view chapter. It's actually insane. Like, we don't even get a Baum point of view. We get White point of view. White is technically the protagonist in this chapter. Urek. No, I didn't give an E. Alright, he's now kicking the sword. I don't know how his feet are going to dull the blade. But, you know, I guess he can channel Shinsu through the special Shinsu shoes. He's got a good punch coming in. That's actually kind of cool. This is cool. He's standing on the blade. And then we get he's using a lot of Shinsu loops, isn't he? I don't really know what the Shinsu loops do, still. I feel like SIU hasn't done a good job explaining how Shinsu loops are useful, like, in combat. Like, what makes Shinsu loops better than a regular sphere of Shinsu? But, you know, neither here nor there. Black Shinsu. Wow, okay, so he's combining the red Shinsu with the black Shinsu to make purple Shinsu. Yeah, I was thinking he used the Thrissa there. Black Shinsu. It's getting some Thorn activation right now. Boom. Okay. Another Urk. I think White is subconsciously wishing for Urek to come and save him. We get more of this. We get more Shinsu Beam. More of the black meteor shower, as ToG calls it. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you guys here. This does not look like what SIU wants it to look like. Now it's just a black version of the meteor shower. You're throwing as many attacks for me to not be able to escape. I like how White actually kind of enjoys it. Look, he's throbbing a little bit, dude. He's throbbing a little bit. Look at that. He's having a great time. All right. Come on, man. 3 at once. You can do it. You can do it, White. Wow, is he getting them all? Mate, no, it doesn't. He's parting the Red Sea, so to speak here. He's parting the Black Sea, actually. I can't cut down that Shinsu, but I can change its core. Wow, dude, he's being Moses right now. He's actually being Moses. Let's see, his power will fall first. Alright, so this is a battle of attrition, but Baum has already said he's low on stamina. This is actually, no, it's kind of interesting, because, I've said it's kind of interesting a million times, but what's interesting this time is that nothing Baum does is enough in this fight. Like, the first time, White clowns on him. The second time, White clowns on him again. And this time, White's dealing with it. Like, he's not clowning on him anymore, but he's dealing with it. I'm really surprised SIU is letting White put up this much of a fight. Like, you'd think Baum gets revived. Like, you'd think once Baum comes back to life, essentially, again, he's gonna unlock. He's unlocking some incredible power, but it's just not enough for him. Huff. Wait, what is this? Shkak. SHKAAAAKK. Shkak. It's like Polish or something. What is he? Okay, is he? I know he says he's changing the pressure, but it really does look like he's just cutting through it. That is what he's doing. All right. I mean, it's nice big stuff. White's going up against some big stuff here. Right? He's going all around it. Very cool. Very cool. Great job. Is it looping? It's looping around. Uh-oh. I bet he didn't know the Shinsu. Oh wait, no. I think he's doing it. No, I was misreading it. He's doing it intentionally. I was thinking White didn't know that the Shinsu could curve, but oh no, he doesn't know. He doesn't know the Shinsu can curve. Is he using Shinsu loops now? That's super insane. I mean, well, wait a minute. Do you guys think that this circle in his sword is actually a Shinsu loop? Again, I don't know what Shinsu loops do, but you know, apparently they make him stronger, so. Oh my god, he's using Ring Shinsu. He's using the Shinsu. Dude, he's using Hot Chai's Shinsu from Zero technique. This is insane. White got training from Hot Chai, the former ranker. Alright. Now we have, Big Black Bomb right here. We got some BBB. Big Black Bomb. Look at that orb. Look at the size of that thing. He's still the same. I don't even know what's like a black orb. I like how he's not happy about that one. He's dealing with everything fine. I like that he gets through like everything. He gets through like the entire black shower. And I mean, it's like, well, you know what it looks like to me. I mean, it's red in the center. You're right. You know what it looks like to me, honestly, is just a giant pocket. It just looks like a giant pocket to me. I don't think I don't even know I don't know what to say at that point. Like, I don't even what is he? Yeah, exactly. He's gonna talk him to death. He's gonna get a lecture. He got a contract from the administrator to make his pocket like giant. He's just gonna fit a giant text monologue. He's gonna play the entire script of B movie on his giant new pocket. The anime intro scene with the red moon. I don't remember that actually. Good to see you though, Lucille. Welcome to ToG Tuesdays. But yeah, I guess he's just gonna. I mean, I kind of expect this to just be able to fire more, you know, little black snakes at him. Not little black snake, very large black snakes, I should say. So maybe next week Baum will actually hit White with an attack. I guess we'll see. I mean, it really does seem like White is... It's weird because it's like, on the one hand, it seems like White is losing ground with this fight. Because Baum keeps powering up. But at the same time, White's like still dealing with it without like issue. Like, there is still not a scratch on White. He has not been harmed in this whole fight. Like, it's insane. It really makes you think SIU is just gonna... It makes me think SIU is just going to have Baum one-shot him. I feel like White's gonna get one shot next week or something. I don't know. But honestly, I don't know what... I just didn't expect White to die here. I don't know. Oh, I feel a sneeze coming on. Oh. Bless me. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know how to like process this. Like I don't know who's gonna I don't know what's gonna happen. I just don't know what's gonna happen. Thank you. Alright. Let's see. So now, let's go on to the meat of ToG Tuesdays. Let's go on to the meat of this week. Today we're talking about one of the prevailing forces of Tower of God, the force of love. Love is a pretty love is, some would say, some people make love, not Mule. Some would say love is a theme of Tower of God. I would disagree with them, but love is still fairly important, as love motivates many events of the plot. But yeah, so let's get into it. There's a lot to talk about. There's really a lot. Now, first of all, I mean, let's just count off some of the instances of love in the tower. We've got what do we have? We have plenty. We have Mule love, I think, in this chapter. I think Mule love is here. Actually, he might have been last week. Well, he's around. He's around this week. Where's Mule love? There he is. Dude, look. Oh, dude, no way. Wait, is he catching up with... I never caught this. This is actually so cool. I actually like this. Baum is actually saying hi to Mule love again. That's actually really cool. I really like that SIU put that in. Oh my god. That's actually awesome. That makes me really happy. Okay. That makes this chapter... This is the chapter where they explain the game, right? I didn't like this chapter because it was kind of boring. But now I like it. Alright, no more speed reading. Alright, you heard fate, now we get love. The one instance of love? You think there's only one instance of love? Oh, bro. Bro, let me tell you, alright? Let me tell you. There's a lot more love. There's a lot more love than you could ever imagine. DDX CPAS. Okay, but anyway. Yeah, so there's a lot of love to go around, dude. So, I mean, first of all, I think the most obvious example to most people is Daniel and Rowan. And the second most obvious example is definitely, you know, Kuhn and Baum, probably. I don't know as much about I don't know about the validity of Kel's song, to be honest. Like, I don't know if there's, you know, I don't know if there's real love there. But, Go Sang and Horyang is a good example. I think Dewan and Cha is actually a fine example of love in the tower. I mean, yeah, like, I get the ship. I get the ship. I just don't think it's, like, I get the ship. I just don't think it's, like, it's not in the comic. They do have a good dynamic in the comic, but it's not a Kel-Sung dynamic, really. And then, I mean, I guess if you really wanted to stretch it, you could try to put Yi-Wang in there, but I don't think that really works. They're good friends. Although I am gonna, I think, let's say we're not just talking about romantic love here. I didn't want to limit it to just that, because then we really would have to be stretching a lot of shit. But I think, I think we've talked about this before on the server. We've talked about the various ways that love is used in Tower of God in the server a little bit before, but I wanted to devote more time to that here on a ToG Tuesday session. So, I think what we talked about a lot and what I want to focus on first is that people really do crazy things in the name of love. Like, I mean, there's a lot that goes on. There's a whole lot that goes on. Aguero pushes Baum to do a lot of what he does because he, whether platonically or romantically, whatever, you know, I really think there is a lot of room for interpretation in what Aguero feels for Baum. But he certainly loves Baum in some type of way. And I think that allows it, I think that gets him to push Baum in certain directions. Yasracha probably loves Yama or like the Bay Lords in some capacity. I think I cannot begin to tell you what the heck is going on with Yasracha and the Bay Lords, but he's hiding something. He's hiding something. He's definitely a really bad guy, but I don't exactly know what's going on there. So who knows who he loves at the end of the day. Yama and Immort would be fun if Immort ended up being a girl. I mean, it would you know, I'd ship all the Mad Dogs and Angels too, honestly. I mean, Welsar and Ragwell, that'd be fun. I mean, I'd definitely ship all those. Sophia and Augustus. I mean, you can't go wrong with that one either. Namo and Sola have like a sibling love. You know, the power of their love makes their Shinsu stronger. I mean, that's complete headcanon. They just have to hold hands, but you know, it's kind of the same thing as Tebow and Rebo. We do have a little bit on Rachel and Yura today. You've hit upon that one. You've gotten the Jeopardy points for that. We are going to talk about them a little bit. But I think maybe more than anything, what we're really going to be talking about today, what all these types of love amount to is care. Maybe care is going to end up being the better word to describe it, but in some type of way, there is a lot of love that drives the plot. Romantic love has definitely been used by SIU in a very negative way, in my opinion. I'm going to set aside Aguero and Baum for now, because even if you think that is romantic love on Aguero's part, that's a really muddy example that we're probably going to talk about in more detail in a few minutes. But the main examples of like people being in love are really negative in Tower of God. What do you get? You get Daniel committing war crimes to bring back Rowan. Like, you get him, like, killing a ton of people on the train. Elaine's kind of... At least Elaine didn't, Elaine doesn't do Name Hunt Station in the name of romantic love. She does that in the name of familial love, which is still, you know, it's just as toxic and just as harmful. But it's, yeah, Elaine. If we broaden, I guess if we broaden my scope just a bit, then yeah, we definitely get Elaine fitting in there. Um, it's interesting too, because Elaine, like, very much. I think Elaine's not really as insane as the other guys, where that she's like very aware that what she's doing is wrong. She just kind of chooses. Oh, that's actually and that's one of the things I want to talk about, and one of the other things I want to talk about. I think love in Tower of God. All right, so this is weird. When I think SIU uses I think if I'm interpreting it the way that I am, SIU is using kind of a strange definition of love. Love in so like when I think of love in the real world, when I think of love in our world, I think of love as supporting someone or something and wanting to I'm trying to find the right words to describe, but I think of love as essentially supporting somebody in the real world. You know, you can support someone in a ton of ways, but that comes from a place of that generally comes from a place of love, for a person, or maybe even more generally a concept. But I think love in Tower of God is much more, especially romantic love. It's presented much more as an obsession, as opposed to the kind of love that I would describe normal people feeling in the normal world. It's the choice to put somebody over everything and everyone else. So in that way, we get much closer to the circumstances that, or the situations that you and I have talked about, Raj, in the server, where love becomes an enabler. And love becomes an enabler, and it allows it's the catalyst for other regulars to kind of reject their humanity, and maybe not reject their humanity, but it's what gets other people to commit war crimes. It's placing one person over everyone else, and using that as an excuse to destroy anyone and anything in the way of getting to that person. So like that have said, I was gonna ask about that's one of the things I wanted to talk about today. The Rachel and Baum relationship. I mean, I would say we'll talk about that soon. We'll get to that sooner rather than later. I'm gonna start off by saying I really think Rachel and were friends, like, for a while. I think it's one of those things where where the lie becomes the truth. That's like my headcanon for it. Like, Rachel probably went down there with some kind of purpose or something. But I think she was genuinely nice to Baum. Like, until they got to the tower, I think she was genuinely nice to Baum. And I think whatever actually prompted her to chase and enter the tower changed their relationship and kind of like I think it brought Rachel into a darker place. I think it brought Rachel into a darker place that, like, probably dredged up a lot of fears that she initially had about Baum. Like, I believe that Rachel... My headcanon is this. Rachel knew that Baum was a monster when she first met, or, like, knew what she had heard about Baum being a monster when she first met him. She, over time, realized that was, like, disproven. And, like, they actually got along. Like, the stuff that Rachel does with Baum in the cave in his flashbacks is not, like... It really doesn't seem like stuff she would just do purely to manipulate him. Like, I think there are some aspects of her reality that kind of creep in, and they do poison her relationship. Like, she knows she's not supposed to do certain things for him. She knows there are limits to how much of a friend she can be to him. But I think she was genuinely okay with him in the cave. Until whatever happens to actually get her to start running away to climb the tower. And then, you know, whatever Baum, like, whatever Baum was a danger to, probably just applied to the tower. And that's why she really didn't want Baum climbing the tower. So the fact that she actually got a chance to do it was what really poisoned their relationship. That's kind of how I feel about things. And then once it's in the tower, it becomes a case of... It really just becomes a case of Rachel being afraid of Baum, and Baum literally chasing after the only existence that he knows. Everything else is unfamiliar to him, and he wants that comfort. And it takes him a very, very long time to come to terms with the fact that their relationship has changed, and they are no longer friends. So like right now, I think, I mean, their relationship has just decayed to the point where they're just enemies now. Like neither of them really wants to see each other ever again, but like they just don't want to speak to each other ever again, and doing so would just bring up too many painful memories of betrayal for Baum, and would probably spark too much fear in Rachel. That's how I feel about them right now. But we can talk about that. We can talk about that kind of soon. So I think Rachel is a good example in that sense of like how I think Rachel is a good example of love being that great motivator, though. I don't think Baum romantically felt for Rachel. I think that's fairly evident. I think he really viewed her as like a sister or a best friend or something. Rachel to him is maybe somewhat similar to what Aguero feels about Baum, in that, like, for a large part of the story, he was pretty obsessed. Like, he was pretty obsessed with her. Like, he needed her to go on. Like, he would stop climbing the tower for her. The only thing that really got him to keep going at that, like, he pretty much needed the whole backstory of the Floor of Death to get him to stop chasing Rachel. Like, he was chasing Rachel for the first half of the story so far. Like, it's really like only until, yeah, Rachel was his only reason to go up the tower, so he had that obsession. And, I mean, that obsession was strong enough to get him to climb the tower, so that's already, like, a prime example of how love is that great motivator. Like, now I'll say he wasn't, it's not quite as big for him as it is for regulars. I will say it's somehow not quite as big or as bad for him as it is for other regulars in the tower. Like, Baum wasn't going around murdering people for the sake of Rachel. Like, Baum is not turning into Daniel for the sake of meeting Rachel again, you know? But, like, it does prompt him to climb the tower, which, you know, you apparently do have, like, you do have to have a really strong desire to go into, as far as we've seen. Or you're in the great families and you can climb whenever you want. But for him, like, he was chasing her up through the hell train. And despite the happiness that he found with his other friends, like, they still, like, I mean, evidently from the whole, like, from the scene where he blows up at Rachel in, let me use this. From the scene where he blows up at Rachel all the way back in the Hell Train, or in Train City, it's really, like, it ends up being, like, really clear just that Rachel was still very much the most important person to Baum still at that point. And then you also see, like, how, you kind of see how Baum's affection for Rachel makes everyone so jealous, and it prompts them to like, it puts a dark twist on their own feelings for Baum as they kind of, you know, step out of their lane, so to speak, and do things to hurt others, kind of in the name of becoming Baum's number one. Like, Baum's affection for Rachel is definitely a huge reason of Baum's affection for Rachel is a huge reason that Aguero is as vicious as he is towards Rachel. That's not the only reason. The betrayal itself, the way Rachel acted towards Baum was still number one. But Baum's obsession definitely affects him more than anybody. It affects Androssi. That it definitely. I mean, I think the name. I think the name hunt station actually is The name hunt station's actually it has a pretty fun scene in that regard. The sexual assault scene with Androssi. Am I even looking at the right chapter? I mean, well, it's the right stretch of chapters here. I mean, it's like Baum is just to get to Rachel. Baum is willing to do like full thorn ignition. He's willing to do full thorn ignition. He ends up like trying to beat the shit out of Welsar real quick. He tries to fly. I can't even imagine a time now where Baum can't fly. If only Baum was a little more powerful on the first floor, or on the second floor. Like none of the story would have happened because Baum would have just been able to fly after getting hit by Rachel. He would have been able to fly up. Welsar X, I would love that. I mean, I think it could happen. I don't think they'd have the healthiest relationship. I love how Rachel's actually like I don't know if I love it, but you also see another way that love is kind of used negatively. Rachel is using Baum's feelings to force his hand right here. She's saying, if you want to stop me from getting away right now, you're gonna have to kill me. And of course, Baum can't do that. He's still very he still hasn't come to terms yet at this point in the story. Even in the Floor of Death, he's not like he hasn't fully come to terms with it. I mean, like even after he's still willing to give Rachel a fair shot. Here we go. I mean, yeah, the second push. It just hammers home, and you see Aguero, just that wrecks him too. Not wrecks him, but that impacts him as well. To see Baum, I think to see Baum hurt like that again really, really gets to him. But you can see that affect him as well, and it really hammers in like just how little Baum has learned up to that point, and how much his obsession with Rachel has still carried him through this. I mean, I think, and you can see that as early as them meeting a few chapters earlier, where he's just like, "What should I say? I missed you? Why'd you push me? I don't know." But it's a pretty. I mean, this does end up being a pretty raw scene, I think. But then, of course, I think one of the other, probably the best example we have of negative love is the whole love triangle between Zahard, Arlene, and V. You know how that apparently it was a major factor in pushing Zahard to fight back in the war. I mean, he killed their child. I mean, that's definitely a pretty negative. I don't know what to say about that one, because the thing is, it's like the thing about that one. The thing about the Zahard, Arlene, V love triangle is that we know it existed, but we don't exactly know how it affected things. We know it. We know it was extremely important to Zahard. We know it was extremely important. He creates this entire twisted system of the princesses, and that's also like a negative twist and distortion of love and family, I think. And it's just him using these people to kind of fight amongst each other and arguably like keep people from climbing and keep them in chaos. That's definitely also a really interesting. That's also a really interesting like element of how that gets twisted. And so I guess my next question then is, and let's actually go to that Floor of Death chapter 2 to talk a little bit more about that. I guess my question is, where is it? I have a chicken or the egg type question coming up. What do you guys think about? What do you guys think about like Do you guys think that? No, maybe not chicken or the egg. Is it that characters' love in this story is twisted? is it that characters' love in the story is twisted, or is it that their love isn't twisted, or their love isn't twisted by default, but it's the tower that makes it twisted? It's kind of like a nature versus nurture thing. It's like, is it, how much do we blame the tower system for what happened? Do we have, which chapter is this? Might be this one. Yeah, here we go. Let me see if we can find, or it might be this one. I was actually in this chapter in the reread. I was like, or in my reread, like I'm like right here, so I'm kind of skipping it. I'm getting ahead of myself a little bit now. Alright, here we go. Alright, so the first Zahard princesses were consumed by the evil magic. Like, how much of it, like, but how much of the tower do you guys think it is? I think one thing that's interesting to note is that the only people, there are only two types of people that should be climbing the tower to begin with. One is, okay, this does not count. This does not count as soundtrack. Are you kidding me? I'm skipping ahead. I think there are two types of people that climb the tower. There are people in the great families who are expected to. And there are regulars with a strong desire of some sort. Like, there's a desperation. Everyone that we've seen, like the way that we've seen the entering the tower explained to us is there's a huge element of desperation. So the people that are in the tower, like the people that climb the tower, are people that I think are predisposed, like the people climbing the tower are people predisposed to commit war crimes. Like, we're already getting a group, irregulars are, that's interesting. It's interesting. People the tower needs. So I think I actually think they're still in the desire group. I think they're still in the desperate group. Baum was desperate to find Rachel. Or Baum was desperate to go after Rachel, and that's why he entered. As far as we know, Urek was chasing Fantaminum. Fantaminum's a special case. Enryu's a special case. Zahard and the Great Warriors we don't know about. But for everyone whose information on entering the tower that we do have info on, there was an element, besides Fantaminum, and Enryu, I guess, there's an element of desperation. I think more of that would be explained if we figured out why Zahard and Arlene and everybody entered the tower. But at least for Baum and Urek, it fits the mold. So, yeah. But yeah, so the people climbing are people already predisposed to commit war crimes, bring their girlfriends back from the dead, kill their lover's child when, NTR arcs happen. But I think you also see a lot of this twisted love kind of with the princess system, where, the princesses are, it's like, what does it even mean? So, the princesses, the facade of the princess system is to create Zahard's wife, gather the 13 months, and become the queen of the tower. Which is kind of weird for a princess to become the queen of the king. That's a little bit, Coon family-ish, to say the least. I wonder how big, I'm sure Edwan was a very big fan of the princess system when that was being developed. Edwan and Gustang may have been great friends. But, yeah, I mean, they could be. I mean, at this point they are, dude. At this point they are. But then you just have it devolved into this. It's like they're supposed to be sisters. They refer to each other as, sisters and aunts. To Anak, I guess. But they end up just fighting and using each other, manipulating each other the entire climb up the tower. There's all these, family I mean, you can say that about any great family, but for the princesses especially, the fighting is really vicious. Familial love is also really fucked in the tower too, especially when it comes to great families. You see that with Iniesta in Name Hunt Station, where like his family refuses to buy him because he's not from the direct line, whatever that means. Like he's not considered a direct descendant, so his own family won't buy him back. Yeah, exactly. It was a facade, and so that's like another. But like for the princesses, it gets twisted. For the princesses, that's love that gets twisted because they want to become queen. They want to be, for whatever reason, they either want power, which is kind of twisting the agenda in and of itself, but artificial hatred, bro. Artificial hatred. Artificial love. Yeah, yeah. I guess so. I guess it is artificial love. It's like it's creating a family. It's creating a family. And you see another good instance of that. Let's go ahead and skip back to the hidden floor. Oh, whoops, that's going to be too far back. Let's skip to the hidden floor too. And where do we get, I don't know what chapter this is in. We need the Androssi backstory. I'm looking for the Androssi backstory here. Where do we get the little dolls, the little Squid Game dolls or whatever? We got up. Oh, here's some twisted love. Oh my God, how could I have? I didn't even consider the Kaiser scene when we talk about twisted familial love, man. I mean, that's actually. Oh, this is actually also such a great. Aguero's betrayal of his sister, or support of Maria, I should say, is also a great example of twisted love in Tower of God. Yeah. I mean, real love does not exist in the Coon family to begin with, unless it's like your cousin that you want to bang. That's real love. That's definitely real love. Aguero's love for Maria may or may not have been the closest I've seen for Aguero to, like, actual, like, nice love. I'm not gonna say he doesn't love Baum, but there's a lot that goes into that love for Baum. That's a little ugly. I would like to see the internal strife. And yeah, no, you are right also, Star, about none of them have actually expressed any desire to marry Zahard. But that is why the system was set up. So you gotta wonder, any of them that are actually concerned with gathering the months, what's the point? Like, do they just want that power? Like, they still need the rings. Like, I don't know if they know about the rings, but they still need the rings in that sense, or in that case too. So I wonder if there really is like a hidden prince element to the princess system. They never talk about the prince element of it. Like, no princess that, like, no hidden knowledge person besides, I'll say this. The only people that really know about the princes that we've seen are maybe Jin Sung and, like, some real high-up FUG people, but, like, Karika and Wangnan are the only people that have divulged information on it. Rachel knows about it somehow, and Gustang knows about it. And so I'm wondering, like, I'm wondering if that actually is, like, a hidden but planned element of the princess system. I don't really know. I don't really know what that's going to entail. I am kind of excited to see one day what Wangnan and Karika's relationship really ends up looking like. That might also be another example of twisted love, because they're brothers, and SIU also hates family in Tower of God. I think SIU really does. I've seen people talk about this too. SIU really does support found family, I think, over anything else. SIU must hate his parents or some shit. Because, like, everyone's family in this is, like, fucked. Like, we see this here in the Coon family. I was also going to go to I was also going to go to the Yura chapter and talk about that too, but I don't think I need to go directly there at this point to have people remember that Yura's family was after her. Yeah, ToG is certainly still an allegory for Korean society. Is it even? I mean, I wonder if it extends beyond Korea. I don't know. Well, there aren't too many parallels I can kind of draw to my own life in America. Yeah, I like predicting. When it comes to that stuff, Star. I'm kind of in the same boat. I like predicting future plot events and character arcs. But I can't, the stuff like Bones' Tower of Answers, stuff like Baza Theory, that stuff I just can't do. It's like the further you go in that, the more assumptions you have to make. I'm more of a this is what I want to see in the story kind of guy. Tower of Problems. I used to do a Reddit thing called Tower of Complaints, which is pretty much that in written form. I still need to watch that 4-hour not Bonehead stream, Nia stream. I have Nia's our guest next week, actually. We have Nia next week for ToG Tuesdays. Nia needs to tell me what he wants to talk about ASAP. The only thing he's told me is like, I've got nothing but complaints right now. And I'm like, well, we can talk about that, but you also had a 4.5-hour stream, which, thanks for not including me on that one. Yeah, real appreciative of that. But, like, now I don't know what he hasn't covered yet, because I haven't watched that video yet, but I'm sure they covered a lot of ground in 4.5 hours with 6 people or so. So I'm like, what's left, you know? What new things can we... I mean, there's plenty of stuff to talk about. It took us 8 hours to do a power ranking. Which reminds me, I forgot to export the first stream of the power ranking. So I exported the last two, which is I think where all the there's gonna be a lot of missed stuff when I finally publish those. But getting back on topic here. There's the great families in general are just so fucked. Yeah, we could talk about the chapter, but I don't want to just talk about a chapter. Like, I mean, I know we spend like a half hour in each week covering the chapter, but I'm not like a chapter react guy. I'm not like, I don't like doing that. I don't know. But I think I'm gonna do Elaine week, because I know he likes Elaine, so we're just gonna talk about Elaine, and I'm gonna dunk all over him on that one. For that choice, since he's such a big Elaine fan. He's a Yuri fan. I was watching his Yuri video today. But we'll actually Yuri would be a really good topic to talk about. Yuri's a character that I have a lot of hope for. I will say Yuri's also Yuri and Aguero. Actually, let's talk a little bit about Yuri and Aguero right now. Also, I agree with you. I agree with you on that. I think, see, here's the thing, Star. The thing is, I think, for the family heads, are not... I'm a big fan of the two Perry family, because nothing has been... We haven't seen anything to make me dislike them yet, so... I think my favorite family right now is the Yon family, but, I don't know. Like that we've seen in the story. So what, Yuri and Aguero, I think, would actually be kind of fun to talk about in a... We can get more into Love with Baum now, I think. So starting off with that, starting that off, everybody is attracted to Baum in one way or another. Androssi, Yuri, Aguero, Wangnan, Jinsung, Hansung, etc. There are three categories. I think there are three categories in interactions with Baum, besides antagonism. I'm not going to count antagonists here. So when it comes to love and Baum, and like how I guess how it motivates, how that kind of thing motivates Baum and its allies to climb the tower together. There are the three main categories. It's a spectrum. It's not a categorization. It's a spectrum. On one end, you have people that want to use Baum, and that stuff is obvious. That's like Han Sung would be on this end of the spectrum. He wants to use Baum. He does not really care about him as a person. Then on the other end, you have people that actually care about Baum and like, you know, love Baum, so to speak. Like, they love him as a friend. They treat him as a person. And in that end, you would have a lot of arguments for Aguero. You would have a lot of arguments for probably a bunch of sweet and sour members, I think. And then in the middle, you have people that use him, but also say that they love him. And I would argue Aguero falls more into that middle myself. But I want to talk a little bit about, I guess I want to discuss and get other people's input on where people fall in line here. So I think it's very obvious that someone like Han Sung is really just using Baum. He's just on that side of the spectrum. I think it's safe to say he does not really care about the person of Baum at all. Aguero, I think, is a really interesting case, and we can talk about him first. Aguero definitely cares about Baum. I think that's like, so I think Name Hunt Station is alright. So like, you can see it really early on, okay? Like, you can see that he actually cared about Baum early on. Like, beyond, I think right once you get to him and his speech in Knot of Wool about Rachel killing his best friend. Like, she's like, okay, we gotta kill, like, he's like, guys, we have to kill Rachel. She killed my best friend. She's a bitch. He definitely cared about Baum. He definitely cared about Baum as a human being. At that point. Like, it was as early as that. But I really think it's only in Name Hunt Station that we see their relationship developed. And in that sense, I think it's actually fairly complex. Where is it? So, like, this is one of these two chapters. Let's see which is which. No, it's this one. No, it's the one before. Whatever. There's this scene, okay? So there's this scene, right? This scene in the last chapter where Aguero's greatest issue with where is this? Aguero's greatest issue with Shibizu's plan is turning Baum into Viol again. I mean, from their perspective, the entirety of the works, I can't find the actual dialogue. I don't know which chapter it came in, but it's related to this scene here. So Aguero, it'd be cool if Aguero would have to choose between the Coon Princess Baum. I would have loved the choice. I would have loved the choice up to a certain point. But now I think his obsession with Baum is so strong, it would take something, like, monumental for him to not choose Baum. Like, it would take... The only way I can see it happening right now, I think Baum is going to have to distance himself from Aguero consciously. I think Baum is going to have to lay into Aguero for hiding... either hiding or willfully ignoring the information about our Crafter and Prince. I think that's going to be necessary. I definitely think that's going to be necessary here. But because I think he says in the floor, or he says before the Floor of Death in the Wangnan arc, he says he feels like the end of the world is going to come if he's not with Baum. And I think there are a lot of reasons he could say that. But he's very much gravitating towards Baum I think he would choose Baum over Maria at this point, and it would feel out of character to me if if the choice was given to him right now, it would be out of character for him to choose Maria, in my opinion. That being said, I think it would be more interesting if he chose Maria, and then, I mean, either way, no matter who he's with, we get more of that twisted love that I love so much in Tower of God, but we get a much different kind of twisted love, I think, if he does go with Maria. We get a lot of tension between Baum, Aguero, and Maria there. And I think it would be really interesting to see that dynamic. And I think it'd be interesting to see what it does to Aguero spending more time with Maria and away from Baum. My guess is that I think Aguero is going to get disillusioned with Maria. That's whether he goes with Maria or not. I think the fact that Maria is caught up in princess politics. We know that she's doing stuff with like the Lopo Bia twins and with Macheni. I think that's going to be really important. I think it's going to be like really important for him going forward, and kind of him like validating the thought that he belongs with Baum, so to speak. Do you guys kind of like, do you guys agree with that? Do you guys know what I'm saying on that front? Oh wait. Uh-oh. Did I disconnect? Oh no. Oh no. I don't know if I can see things. Wait, let me try to reload real quick. Uh-oh. This is great. Oh, dude, I hope I didn't. I've been oh. Yeah, let's go. Sorry, the screen I'm using to read chat, did disconnect. And also no one said anything for a while, so I was curious. I also had, like, my viewer screen is messed up, too. Okay, we're fine. Sorry about the confusion there. But we would get some really good examples, I think, of, we would get another example of, like, how, I guess, of how, I really think that if he went with Maria would use him. I think that's what would happen. I think he's going to get disillusioned there. I will say, when it comes to Baum I don't think Baum uses Aguero. I'll say that. I do think Aguero uses Baum to an extent, and I'm about to go to a chapter that makes that complex. Or that sheds some more light on that, depending on if it's this one or the last one. Where is it? Where is the God versus Humanity chapter? Wait, maybe? Maybe? No. Also, I really like that saving Rack is the first thing Baum says there. That's actually really nice of him. Baum does actually care about saving his friends sometimes. It's really nice. Where is the chapter that I'm thinking of? Here we go. All right. I want to talk about this a little bit. This is something that I brought up in the server. So we have an example. I think Name Hunt Station is really interesting on in the Baum, in terms of people's relationships with Baum, where it sheds a little bit of light on who cares about Baum as a person and who's just using Baum. And I think both we have kind of on both sides of this conflict. We have Androssi and Aguero, and they're both on a middle ground in my opinion. So like, I've been doing a lot of reading on Androssi lately, and it's easy to Androssi's been very possessive and jealous of Baum this arc. Baum is really important to Androssi. This isn't just a case of Androssi purely using Baum here to help Baum to help her get her name back. This is more of a case of Androssi not being able to understand that she is not the most important thing to him. The reason it's hard for her to accept that, I think, is that in like, in season 1, Baum is the one that, like, kind of reaches out to her, spends more time with her, and gets her to open up a little bit. And, like, he says stuff to Androssi, like, I'm happy you're not alone. Like, you can, like, he brings her food, he makes an effort to connect with her, when she herself is always trying to act aloof and isolated because she's a princess and she's different from these other people. She antagonizes a lot of other people in the floor. He was smooth, dude. He was smooth. He was smoother than he gave himself credit for, but it is important to note that Kuhn wrote his scripts, at least when he was starting off his relationship with Androssi, trying to get her on the friends list. It's worth noting Kuhn was the mastermind behind that plan. And so, but Baum was genuine. He did execute it perfectly. You're very correct there. And Androssi also talked about, like, not feeling lonely. That made a big impact on her. You see in season 1, I don't want to get too big into Androssi, but, like, in season 1, you see this parallel between the dinner table that she had growing up in her family, where she had to beat the shit out of people for food. You have that contrast between that table and the lunch table in the lunch table, which is a much more positive social experience on the floor of Tess. And you have Androssi realizing that she doesn't have to distrust other people. Not everyone has it out for her. She doesn't always have to fight people for scraps of food on the table. She doesn't have to fight for a place anymore. She can trust other people and climb with them. Baum helps her see that, and that's very important to her. And I'm going to have to dig up the chapter again. If we go back to the workshop arc, if we go to the date chapter, we see that coming up again. And yeah, season 1 really was phenomenal. I mean, season 1 was so cohesive. You had those really long... You had SIU playing the long game. He had time to plan that out and refine it and edit it. He doesn't have that anymore, unfortunately. Even though he did a damn good job doing it up to a certain point. He even did a good job doing it post-hiatus for a while. I mean, I would argue he's still doing a decent job of it now. But if we go all the way back to the beginning of end of the workshop, I should say. Getting ahead of myself. Which one is this? I think it's actually, it might be the Karaka chapter. Yeah, okay. Where is it? They're eating dinner. It's the... Oh. Where is it? Where is it? Let's see. Here we go. This is what you... So, here we go. This is really important to understanding where she's coming from in the name hunt station. Oh, yeah, no, I agree. You know, ToG now, ToG then. I think early season 2 is actually... Early season 2 kind of averages out as my favorite now, though. So, like, you see this inner monologue here. She's actually wondering why she likes him. This is a really important scene for me. Like, this kind of validates the date scene. Because you see Androssi being really clingy and obsessed and kind of annoying for a large part. But you need this scene to actually understand why she's into Baum, to make sure it actually feels like she's into him for, like, a valid reason. You know, you can like someone for whatever reason, but if she likes him just because, it's not really narratively satisfying, in my opinion. So we get this, which is really nice. We get this flashback, what she remembers him saying. I mean, you could argue she just likes his smile, but I think what it really is how Baum made her feel less alone. That's why she really likes him. She really likes that Baum makes her feel less alone. That's really nice. And of course she's possessive of that. She really appreciates that. And to see her in... you know, in these few chapters... this is the wrong chapter for it, I guess. But to see her in these few chapters, when she's sexually assaulting him, she's... I have a lot of issues, personally, with Hidden Floor and Last Station. Alright, well, I have a ton of issues with Floor of Death and Beyond, in terms of, like, even the action, and the writing and the hype. I'm gonna be honest. There was not a single Last Station chapter that I was excited for. There was a solid 30 weeks where I was just bored out of my mind when ToG was coming out, and I'm like, dude, can they just leave already? But going back to the Androssi thing, the reason that possessiveness is coming from a place of she cannot understand why, like, to Baum it's natural to make people feel valued in some regard. Like, for Baum, it's natural to kind of empathize with people. And, like, in that way. At least conceptually. But, there are parts of the Hidden Floor that I think are done incredibly well. There are parts of Floor of Death that I like, too. But, for Androssi, she cannot understand why Baum still places Rachel above her. Like, she cannot make him feel what she feels for him. I think there really is a lot of stress coming for her for, like, unrequited love in that regard. And so, I would actually argue, like, so when Androssi does try to go against Viol's will, it's not that she's really using him for her own... Well, she's using him in some sense. But it's not in the same way that I think... it's not in the same way that I think Aguero uses Baum, in large part. I think Androssi uses Baum much more for emotional fulfillment. And she like, it's not exactly a good relationship that they have, and it certainly isn't a viable ship. But it's another way that, like, this, like, the fact that Androssi's love for Baum, or attraction for Baum, whatever the hell she feels for Baum, is unrequited, that causes her to lash out. That causes her to take control and possess other things herself. Oh, I completely agree. I mean, I have a video coming out next week on, I'm, like, almost done with it. I have a video coming out all about how Androssi's been destroyed. Coming out next week. I'm trying to have that out by next Tuesday. So look forward to that. That'll be on my YouTube channel, which is also called Boss Jesse. But then I want to... So, like, on the other side of this in Name Hunt Station, where we have people caring for Baum, we have Aguero. And Aguero definitely feels for Baum. But I want to unpack some of the things that Aguero says. I feel like Aguero's motivations regarding Baum are more complex than it seems. Aguero's a really ambitious guy. So, like, Aguero has plenty of room to feel, like, legitimate emotion and care towards people. And I am not gonna say Aguero. It would be misguided of me to say Aguero's just using Baum, especially at this point. But sometimes when Aguero talks to Baum, I think Aguero comes from a place where he really wants Baum, above all else, he still wants Baum to fulfill his objectives, so to speak. Like, when he says when he says things like he really wants to be with Baum, like he's always looking out for Baum, it's hard for me to completely believe him. Because, well, I think he does care about Baum, and he does view Baum as a legitimate friend. There is actually a really good moment for him in the nest that I really support from him, but especially in, like, Aguero is quick to go along with it, and Aguero is quick, and I think what's more is that, like, when it counts, Aguero is there to encourage Baum, but not in the right ways. I think the starting point for that is in this scene in, like, Name Hunt Station is where Aguero slips into bad friend territory for me. Aguero is very much an enabler to Baum. I think Aguero says a lot of things to Baum where, exactly, ignore him, you're fine, you can go on, you use your power properly, without really, it's like he tells Baum he's using his power properly because he still looks out for people. but he never really thinks through it with Baum. Like, he never thinks about, like, it's kind of like, I'm trying to think of if I'm about to make a really dumb comparison. It's like, I'm not gonna make the comparison. I was gonna make a ReZero comparison, but I don't think it quite works here. But here's where we start telling Baum. Here's where Aguero starts kind of enabling Baum to not think about things as much, and to just kind of go forward. On the surface, it's not a bad thing, but I think someone as analytical as Aguero should understand better that he does try to do the thinking for Baum, but I think putting that responsibility on himself is unfair to Baum. It doesn't really allow Baum to make his own choices. And has Baum, here's a question, has Baum ever talked with Aguero about his family? Like, has Baum ever talked with Aguero about the information that he heard from Garum, or, like, who his parents are? I know Aguero, like, knows that stuff by now, but because he would have found out on the hidden floor at the latest. I don't remember if it was said, like, already. I'll tell you who does care about Baum as a person. Urek. Urek is actually a really good friend to Baum. Urek's the one that tells Baum to think for himself and to stay focused on himself. But you're right, Star, in that Aguero does baby Baum a lot and tells him to go forward. The first thing here is that this mixed thing right here, this mixed monologue about being human. You're a human anyway, Baum, so what's wrong with saving someone you want to save? You have to treat everyone equally if you were God, but you're human. That's your power. So you have to decide how to use it yourself. Now, this is such a mixed monologue for me, because on the one hand, he says you have to decide how to use it yourself. And that gives Baum agency, and that's a good thing. That's definitely a good thing. That's good, friend Aguero. But I guess the issue is that he kind of ignores that Baum does want to save everyone. So, like, you get the scene later at the end of Name Hunt Station where Baum agrees with Kuhn that, like, yeah, it is better being human because it feels comfortable to Baum. But he says after that, and is like in his thoughts, for a moment, I really wish that we could be gods. And that, I think Aguero is, it really, like, that's the evidence that I see of Aguero, one piece of evidence that I see of Aguero comforting Baum, as opposed to helping Baum grow. I think if Aguero was really being a good friend to Baum, I think Aguero would help him sort out those feelings. There's nothing wrong with telling Baum that he can use his power as he wishes and saving who he wants to save, but ignoring Baum's, it's kind of weird, because in the Dollar Show, you have Aguero saying, I'm gonna go with whatever Baum chooses, but then here, he's like, isn't it better to just be human, Baum? Just save who you want to save. You don't have to save everyone. It's like, okay, like, it's okay. It sounds nice. It sounds nice and comforting that he gets to choose that, but I think if he was paying attention to Baum, if he was really that attentive, he might be able to pick up on the fact that Baum actually does want to help people. Like, he wants to help people in general. Like, he does care about the no-named. He's off, like, even when he goes to Yukon in, like, 1 or 2 chapters, when he goes to see Yukon in 1 or 2 chapters, like, they are in a position to help people in the station. It wouldn't even cost them anything either. Like, it wouldn't cost them anything to do so, because he already, by defeating Kaiser, Baum is, by default, helping people in the station. Whether or not, the only difference, really, is whether or not he gets the no-named in on it. And you could argue that if he did, like, support the revolution explicitly, he would be kind of dang-danging them, where he'd be dragging them into his own thing, and that would be selfish. Certainly Shibizu Certainly Shibizu did that as well, which is kind of a point against him as much as, as much as I kind of wank off him all the time. But what do you mean Kaiser isn't fully divorced? I don't think Kaiser's divorced. Oh, Kaiser's not divorced at all. Kaiser never really admitted wrongdoing. Kaiser's, I mean, Kaiser does not. Kaiser is evil Yiwa, in my opinion. Kaiser is the Yiwa that never realized that it was bad. Okay, so we got one scene from Kaiser. Here's the thing, though. I think we actually can say that Kaiser didn't grow. I agree that Kaiser has potential. But I also think, and I'm not saying she has to. I'm not saying the only way to like make her good is to have her acknowledge that, and like, we don't necessarily need a Kaiser redemption. But the one interaction she had with Hockney kind of proves to me that Kaiser has not outgrown that treasured great family member above everyone else status. It's the same thing that Yiwa struggled with in the beginning and is hopefully still getting more comfortable with. But I guess that's just another example of her twisted love. I mean, that kind of is. I mean, that Kaiser is quintessentially, part of my view of twisted love in the tower, where love is really just the obsession, where you put one thing over all else. Like, it just enables you to fuck everyone over in the name of getting that one thing that you want. And that ties into a deeper concept, I think, of desire in the tower. That's where that desperation comes from. Like, that's where this twisted love comes from. Just that desire to have that one thing that you care about above everything else. Whether it's, that finally getting the love from your family in Kaiser's part, getting your girlfriend back, whatever. What do you desire? Exactly. Maybe that really is what Tower of God is about, Maybe what Tower of God really is about is desire, and that's definitely something I plan to talk about in one of my YouTube analysis too. Desire is one of the things in there that I have right now. But like that, she put her family above everything else, and she uses that as an excuse to fuck everybody else over. Because that's, in a sense, easier than finding anything else that she wants or finding any healthier way to express herself. And that's her character. She's a bad person, but that's who she is. Would I describe Wangnan's view of those who climb as love? I was thinking about that, and I'm not sure how to describe Wangnan, and I wanted to get to him next, too. I think Wangnan has a very broad love of people. I think Wangnan has a very broad love of people. I think that is why he forgave Lurker. Like, Wangnan is someone who understands that believes, I should say. I can't say if understand is the right word, but dude, Star, check out I want to tell you, dude, check out my YouTube channel, man. What's up, So? Good to see you. Check out my YouTube channel, because I do like longer character analysis videos. And then I guess we did Rack Week a little while ago. We had a Rack discussion a few weeks ago on the stream too, and that'll be uploaded in a while. But yeah, I guess we can move to Wangnan now. But I think we've at least begun the discussion of Aguero somewhat using Baum to keep it. Like, let me just conclude with this so we don't spend too long dwelling on Aguero, because he deserves his own week. Like, Kuhn's relationship with Baum could cover its own video. Dyer, we're talking about A, good to see you, and B, we're talking about love. We're just talking about like love in the tower. So we've covered a bunch of stuff already. We've talked about how it like drives people to commit war crimes. We've talked about how love and using people are connected. We've talked about how the tower twists love a little bit. We've talked about how Androssi and Aguero both kind of desire Baum in different ways and both use him in different ways. So I'm going to finish it off by saying, I'm going to finish the Aguero summary here for now by saying that I think, based on Aguero continuously enabling Baum, he is essentially using Baum to continue climbing up the tower and kind of get it, like, I think he does it more on a subconscious level. He's still using Baum to achieve his own goals. He's still using Baum to, despite his like, care for him as a friend, it doesn't stop him from driving Baum down a path that is not healthy for him. I think he's driving Baum down a path where the weight of his sins, in a sense, are going to catch up with him. He cannot keep justifying Baum's use of his power by saying he's just saving who he wants to save forever. It's weighing on him. I really think it's weighing on Baum. And I think he's doing that because, and like, again, this deserves its own week to explain. He's doing this because at the end of the day, he still wants to be the one taking power. He's kind of controlling and guiding an irregular, in a sense, to shape his own climb up the tower, to shape his own story. And on the one hand, teammates use each other. Teammates use each other, often in a collaborative way, often not. It's one thing. It's one thing to do that, but to manipulate Baum's desires and to guide him down a path that continues to make Baum's care more narrow in terms of he just wants to save his friends, when it is clear to me that Baum does care in a wider sense about people. That's using Baum to me. That is malevolent on Kuhn's part, and that's just who he is. There are plenty of redeeming qualities for Aguero, but he is in a sense. I mean, he is pathetic. I would say he's pathetic every so often. You always have him thinking now about like how he's not as useful to Baum anymore. But I will say, for the support in the nest, and the one thing I actually really got mad about, in this chapter, we're already here. This scene from Aguero, or maybe it's beforehand. This one. So Aguero doesn't want Baum to go on the field. I think this is actually a fantastic. I mean, this is a very smart move by Aguero, because let's think about this. I said we'd move to Wangnan a while ago. But let's think about it. So Aguero doesn't want Baum to be. Aguero wants to put Baum in a safe position. And I actually respected this. I respected this move from Aguero. And I think it was a better choice. Not narratively. Well, honestly, it wouldn't have been bad narratively. I think it would have been fine. I think we actually kind of still get what we need. I know Baum wants to be a captain. In terms of Aguero caring for Baum, though, if Aguero truly was just pushing Baum further and further, he would not have. I think he would still have advocated for Baum, or like he wouldn't have objected to Baum being a team captain as much. I actually really didn't like the whole like don't hold up the plot Aguero coming from Shibizu and Rack. I really didn't like that at all, because it's like it's a fourth wall break, and I think it doesn't work here. But B, like, think about this. Baum's actual use of the nest was to break the spells. The Cat Tower game actually, like, the Cat Tower game negates Baum's usefulness. Like, Baum does not actually have to do anything anymore. All he wants to do now, or like all he wants in terms of his goal now, is to get to Jinsung. But if the Cat Tower can teleport people other places than the nest, then there's no reason for him, like, there's no need for him to break another wall. And so Aguero is actually looking out for Baum here by having him not be a captain. And it's a little stupid on everyone else's part to be like, nah, dude, it's fine. Baum's going to be fine as a captain. It has to be done. That was stupid. But let's talk about Wangnan now. So Aguero is a mixed bag. He does care about Baum, but he also, I think subconsciously, uses him for a lot of the time. And their relationship really isn't that healthy. It's one of enablement. And molding Baum to go further in line with Aguero's narrow desires. Let's talk a little bit about Baum. I really do think I'm a big Wangnan fan. I'll probably always look at Wangnan with rose-tinted glasses. Oh, he wasn't gonna lose. But that's also a good reason for why... That's a good reason for why Aguero was right. Because he's not gonna find anyone stronger off the field. But yeah, so I can still respect the choice to bring him on the field. And I do, at least in concept, love the Baum-White confrontation we're getting. I have issues with the fact that it is happening here, but I love it, the actual substance of that fight, so... Whether that happened in the Cat Tower here, who knows, but I think the good thing about having Baum in the field is that he is more isolated, and so we get that, we actually do get more danger from him in the beginning as White's beating the shit out of him. So the Cat Tower was ultimately a good move. Let's go back real quick. I think there's also, so there are arguments to be made. There are two things to talk about for Wangnan. One is whether or not he actually likes Baum as a friend, and whether or not he really likes people. Now Wangnan, I guess. Wangnan has always kind of been focused on. I don't know how to accurately describe Wangnan's viewpoint on things. Wangnan and Yiwa both share a common... Wangnan and Yiwa both share a common, I don't want to say philosophy, but a common view of, like, thinking about the big picture, but also understanding. We're not getting into Yu Wang. I'm just saying that Yiwa also shares this. I think Yi Wang to me, any Yi Wang to me would predominantly just be founded on good chemistry. There's nothing that, like, binds them. There's nothing Wangnan and Yiwa really give to each other in terms of, like, the way you see that Androssi, like, why Androssi likes Baum. You don't have that with Wangnan and Yiwa. I'm not saying it would be a bad thing, but I'm saying we don't have that yet. Wangnan cares about the big picture a lot. Wangnan definitely cares about the big picture a lot, but without forsaking the individual. Baum cares about individuals in front of him. Like, Baum, like, does care about people, but he cares about people when they're in front of him. Baum is not seeking out problems to solve. Wangnan is really thinking about, like, Wangnan is really thinking about problems to solve. Wangnan thinks about the system and the way he acts, for better or worse. And Wangnan makes a lot of mistakes, for sure, and that's part of why I love him so much. I get what you're saying there with the link between, the mistake and the true... Yeah, mistakes. I like, writing... Wangnan and Yiwa have the very common desire to right the wrongs of the tower, on, like, a societal level. Baum climbs for much more of a personal level, and while both Wangnan and Baum and Yiwa care about people, Baum cares more about ending injustice where he can see it, I guess is the best way I can put it, or the simplest way I can put it right now. Baum cares about saving people where he can see them. Wangnan, while he tries to save people where he can see them, despite not really having the power to, also cares about the big picture, and like, cares a lot more about how power is used in a more... Wangnan's like the fucking Spider-Man, dude. With great power comes great responsibility. That's where Wangnan and Yiwa come from. I think that does come from... I think that does come for a love of people who climb. And I actually like I think Wangnan does love people who climb in a sense, like obviously not in like a romantic way, you know. He's not fucking anything that moves. He's not Frank Booth, but he does like he's generally like pro. He's I forget what's the opposite of misanthropic, you know, proanthropic. He does love people, I think. He does care about people. He's very empathetic, and he's willing to forgive his enemies. He's willing to work with people. There's a lot that goes into. There's a lot to go into him essentially being he's very magnanimous. I think the really big thing for him, you can argue a lot of nuance in this scene. Not this scene right here. You can argue a lot of nuance in the scene that I'm about to say. It's worth saying that Wangnan talks about saving everyone. Wangnan wants to make a place where everyone can smile under the same roof. Wangnan tells off Casino at the expense of his own physical health that he's not going to end up saving anyone if he's forsaking the people around him, if he's sacrificing people along the way to do it. And that it's very worth noting that when Wangnan actually gets his first taste of real power in the Hidden Floor when he uses the sword, it's worth noting that the deal that he made was to save everyone. He made that deal to save everyone, and he did save everyone. I guess the sword saved everyone. But, like, it was, I think SIU clarified in the blog post that it was the sword's power that got everyone out of the Hidden Floor and saved them from certain death. So that was kind of sick. That's Wangnan actually using. Yeah, I mean, it's not like he had the means to like fight Zahard or anything, or like do anything selfish with it at that moment anyway. But like he definitely cares about people on a much wider scale. I mean, people do go off on Wangnan not be. I mean, look at Baza talking about Wangnan at any point in time. I think part of it is him memeing, but I mean, I think like there is something to say about the poor decisions Wangnan has made that got Prince and Arcrafter killed. There is something to say about like Wangnan trying to get revenge on Rachel in the Floor of Death after forgiving Lurker, even though he doesn't actually do that. I mean, he made a mistake, definitely. Like, his plan was dumb, in my opinion. But, like, he's not a smart guy, in my opinion. I think it's in character for him to make a bad plan. Wangnan does have the issue of burdening himself with that responsibility. But so it'll be interesting to see. It'll be really interesting to see if Wangnan's love will be, like, how will Wangnan's desire to save everyone be twisted? Like, will he start truly making hypocritical decisions? Starting to sacrifice people, kill the one person. Is he gonna kill the one person? I'm really banking on Wangnan actually not going through with the deal. Exactly, will he start doing what Baum does? And I think, like, there's definitely going to be discussions had about that. I think what people don't like about Wangnan, I think what a lot of, like, Wangnan detractors don't like about him is that they think that he's going to go that direction. I think that's where they're going to, I think that is what they bank on him being a hypocrite, and he is a hypocrite. He's a hypocrite in some regards. Like, he's not a saint. He's not the saint that someone like me usually says he is. But yeah, like I think especially with War Crime Baum though, like especially with Dark Change Baum, I've viewed Wangnan as a foil to Baum for a long time, and I really think that Wangnan, despite being tested, I think he's going to get close to the limit. I do not think he's actually going to follow through. I don't think he's going to follow through on getting corrupted in that sense. Yeah. Wangnan is definitely very close. But like his desire really is to help everyone. I think yeah. Wangnan it's kind of interesting. Wangnan can climb with the loss, but that loss eats away at him. That loss really does eat away at him. Where's the closest chapter? Let me find the interesting there. I think it's one of this. I think it's this one. Is it this one? Yeah. Wangnan definitely has a bit of an issue with loss. He has. This is not his first nightmare. This is not his first nightmare. Not just about losing people, but yeah, maybe that is why he's so stupid. But like, I mean, look at this. Like, he understands. He does understand on a deeper level. He understands on a deeper level that, and this is why I actually think that Wangnan's not really a hypocrite most of the time, because it's not like he ignores. It's not like he ignores what he does. Wangnan acknowledges it and tries to be better. He just continues to make mistakes. And, like, he just continues to make mistakes. Mistakes that are admittedly extremely hard to avoid on the way up the tower. So I give Wangnan a lot of leeway. Because everyone's gonna lose people. We don't know how many of these are his fault, really. But he is weak. He is weak. He can't save people on his own. What's up, Skift? Good to see you. It's been a while. It's been a long time. It hasn't been that long, but yeah. Wangnan is really fallible though. Like he's such a good character to me. He's such an incredible character. He's the most fallible. His journey feels the most human to me. So Wangnan, I think Wangnan, I think Wangnan is kind of the least in danger of his love being twisted in the long run. But that isn't to say he doesn't make mistakes. And that isn't to say sometimes negative emotions get the better of him. Like his big desire to get revenge on Rachel, that, well, he never ended up acting on it. Oh, this isn't a dub. This is like discussion. But yeah, I've done this for like, I've been doing this for like 2 months now. I do have to say, we are gonna have like a 5-6 weeks we have like 2 of these left, and then we have like a 6-week hiatus for ToG Tuesday and Lore Olympus Fridays, because I'm gonna be away from my PC, going back home, from like November 20th or so, through the new year. So I'm not gonna have the resources to do this, unfortunately, unless I really want to pack away the Xbox One, which I don't. But yeah, so yeah, that's Wangnan loves on a much wider scale, and I think Wangnan's love hasn't really been twisted in a big way yet. He certainly forsakes other people, at least temporarily. I'm kind of interested, if he gets the chance, I'm pretty interested in how he's going to react to Rachel. I really want to know if he'll actually still try to get revenge on Rachel, or if he'll eventually forgive her. I think he should forgive her. I think he should. I remember when I was thinking about how I wanted the Floor of Death to go. I actually really wanted Wangnan. I remember back when I was thinking about that, like, of how I would, like, redo the Floor of Death. I actually wanted Wangnan to carry out revenge. I wanted Wangnan to, like, put Rachel in a coma. I wanted Wangnan to do to Rachel essentially what Rachel did to Aguero in Hidden Floor. Now I don't know if I actually still... I don't really think he should do that anymore. I don't think he should have, like... No, I'm saying I don't think he'll kill her. I never thought he would kill her. Like, that's never gonna happen. But I think I think he would I think you should forgive her. Yeah, like, I think you should forgive her. Because he did it with Lurker. What Lurker did was brutal. What Rachel did wasn't... What Rachel did, you know, I know he was closer to those guys. But, I mean, the thing about Rachel is Rachel doesn't deserve, like... Rachel, I think she would be, but... Well, I don't know. I think Rachel doesn't need forgiveness is the issue. Like, Rachel doesn't, especially for that. Like, I don't think Rachel I don't think she, maybe she said she doesn't, I would say she would think she doesn't deserve forgiveness. I actually think Rachel and Wangnan have, like, the capacity to be friends in another world. The, kind of an issue, one of the issues here, it's kind of funny. One of the, I don't want to get too much off topic, so after this, I'm going to get back on the love thing. Something that I think is interesting is that Aguero and Casino himself really, like, poisoned everyone else's view of Rachel's entire team. So, like, okay, so there are a couple, okay. Let's think of, I want a pure hypothetical. If Rachel didn't have White on her team, and if Aguero didn't pretty relentlessly hammer it into everybody at how fucked Rachel is, I think Wangnan potentially could have negotiated to get Casino back. I do not view Casino as expendable. Inexpendable to Rachel. Like, I don't really understand why Casino needed to be... I don't really understand why Casino even needed to be on Rachel's team to begin with. So I think it's possible for... I think it would have hypothetically been possible for Wangnan to actually, like, not even, like, trick them. It's just, like, I think the issue that White is there and would just kill everyone kind of makes it so they have to fucking sneak Casino out and kidnap him. I don't know what he would offer. I mean... He could have made the deal to climb himself. He could have done that. He could have. I don't know how he would have convinced her, but I feel like somehow that would have been valid. Maybe he had information. Like, he might have information. I don't know. Vital information. I don't know. But, he could, I feel like he would know something. I feel like he would have something that she wants. I don't know. He has durability. He can't be killed. He would be good bait. He'd be good bait for her team. He'd be super useful in tests. He'd just bait, like, he gets himself out. He lures himself out. People beat the shit out of him. It's a trap. Rachel gets him. You know, Rachel and Yura and you know, maybe Joaquin, they kill him. Or, like, they kill the competitors. I don't know. But, like, they didn't have to be enemies. They didn't have to be enemies is my thing. And I mean, hypothetically, like, could have just said, you know, Hworyang would climb with him too. I don't know. But whatever. Dude. You know, it actually is pretty sick that SIU got a decapitation in there. I know Kurigam said that she's not... There was a death scene, I don't want to spoil Kubera for anyone here, but there's a death scene in Kubera that Kurigam said she would not be allowed to, like, put in there anymore because it was too brutal. It wasn't even as brutal as the decapitation. It wasn't as brutal as Wangnan getting the shit kicked out of him. But that's, yeah, no, there's a lot of potential there. Wangnan can lose people, but also keep current people alive with the bigger picture. With Arcrafter and Prince, he kept Miss Sang alive, not telling Baum about... not telling... I don't understand... I don't know if I understand what you mean, by keeping Miss Sang alive through that. He did... I mean, taking the deal taking the deal kept Miss Sang alive, if not himself as well, in some capacity. Um, he did that. He did that at least. I mean, like, he does do everything he can to protect the people around him, I would say. He just can do very little. He really does love his teammates in a huge, in a huge capacity. But yeah, so going back kind of more under the, going kind of back to the topic of love. So what I wanted to ask in terms of Wangnan to kind of finish this off, what do you guys think, where do you guys think Wangnan falls on the spectrum of caring about Baum versus using him? Because on the topic of using Baum, first of all, Baum is de facto useful to anybody on a team. There is like there is the element that he's like using Baum for his power. Like, that's everyone on Sweet and Sour is kind of using Baum for his power, but it's also true that SIU explicitly portrayed them as a family. So there is like genuine affection going around on that team. I would say around the end of the FUG arc is where he first really starts caring about Baum as a friend, and that's not subtle, you know? Oh, I can go here. And that's not subtle, you know? That's like, that's how it is. Like, he's like, I'd be your friend, pal. It's kind of weird. Like, the two, like, using him and being his friend are kind of one and the same. They're not the same, but it's like he learns about, like, it's kind of weird. Like, the more that he learns the extent of which he can use Baum as Hua Ryun talks to him, the more he actually thinks about it. Like, you can see it, like, keeping him up. You can see it keeping him up. You see that Wangnan, like, doesn't want Baum to be used in that sense. Like, he yells at Hua Ryun for using them. And maybe... I'm getting a nosebleed. What are the odds? We're gonna take a 2-minute break. Dave! So I was taking my final exam in calculus one time. And during the exam, I was senior in high school. During the exam, I got a nosebleed, and it was just a big red spot. That's embarrassing. So I was getting a nosebleed, and but it's like, it was a timed exam, and you know, like, calc isn't I'm not like terrible at calc, but it's not like my strongest subject, and so I was like, all right, well, this is kind of crappy, and like, all I really knew what to do was to continue taking the test. You know, I didn't want to have to like get up, go to the bathroom, waste precious time, so I just plugged my thumb over my nostril for like 10-15 minutes as I was taking this test, and then I was like, all right, the nosebleed should have stopped by now, right? And I took my thumb off of my nostril, and then just like all this blood just spilled onto my Scantron, and I was like, oh fuck. And I'm like, I just raised my hand, and I'm like, hey, can I get a new one? It was so funny, and she's like, oh shit, okay. My teacher was like, yeah, she was nice. So I think if I was going to speculate a little bit here, if I was going to do some based character analysis, I think the fact that Wangnan is thinking about this, it's like, the more he learns about how Baum is being used, maybe that is helping him reflect on how he himself was using Baum
and wants to get past that and really start caring about him as a person. He gets more of an understanding of Baum for how people care about him and how people use him as well, and how Baum doesn't really have a lot of friends right now, but he understands that Baum's position was not one that he chose, and that he is actually coming from a good place, Juvial Grace. So we get this really good scene. This is really one of my favorite scenes in Tower of God. And you see and this is where I think his care for Baum starts to become genuine. So whereas I would say Aguero still uses Baum to a significant extent, but Wangnan cares about him more as time goes on. And you see that Wangnan, despite using him, really desires to genuinely help him as he climbs, to save his own friends, because that's what he cares about. Alright, this is interesting. Yiwa's really important, so Baum is really important to Yiwa, in that Baum helps Yiwa control her power. That's, huge. I think, Baum makes Yiwa feel safe, for whatever reason. Baum makes Yiwa feel safe. Yiwa also rides a fine line between caring and using, but Yiwa's a little like Androssi in that extent, where Yiwa's not really using Baum for any, ends. She's really just using Baum as emotional support, in my opinion. And, that's why she has stuff like, I'll follow this guy to the end, or, or stuff like she always needs to keep an eye on him, because for whatever reason, Baum makes her feel safe. I'm gonna do away with this now. Give me a sec. I don't know if I'd have, allergies or something, or getting a cold, but we, headcanon my ass. Let me go to that chapter. I've just had, such a runny nose, over the last, couple. Maybe it's just because it's getting colder now. It's become cold. I would love it if she was talking about Wangnan. I would love it so much. I just can't believe it. It's really not annoying. Kind of annoying, I guess. Now he cares more about Baum. I think what really cements the Thanksgiving music in Animal Crossing. What cements Baum as being what cements Baum as being totally lost my train of thought here. What cements someone as being something? What cements Wangnan caring about Baum? We're pretty close to it. In my opinion, is the controversial scene where Wangnan says goodbye to Baum. The thing about Wangnan is it's easy for him to act independently of Baum. We see that all the time in, the Daller show. We see it for a lot of Helltrain. But we see it, most importantly, when Wangnan actually decides that he is holding Baum back right now and he needs to pursue his own goals. I think that, part of that is him Part of that's him shouldering things on himself. Part of that is him not wanting to hold Baum back, and he even gives Baum Yiwa to help him. And I think if he really was using Baum, I think he wouldn't leave Baum in this situation if he was really using him. Like the fact that he's actually like pursuing his own goals independently of Baum now cements it as him genuinely seeing Baum as a friend and caring about him at this point. I do not think he really uses Baum anymore. He could start using Baum again down the line in some capacity, and I think if he wants to fight Zahard, then he really is going to have to start using Baum again one day, but maybe... That's true. He is doing this because of the prophecy. But he could still... I mean, there are still a lot of ways, he could have done this in a lot of ways. He could have done this in a lot of ways where he could have used Baum to keep this prophecy from coming true, kind of. But yeah. I think I kind of agree with you. I kind of I don't exactly know how this is. I don't really know what the deal is here, but I'm kind of thinking that like there was a theory that I kind of liked in at least kind of as a proof of concept that Zahard split himself. And, like, Zahard right now doesn't actually exist. Like, he has split himself into the princes. I don't know, though. I have no idea. I really can't begin to guess on what the actual situation with the princes and stuff is. But, like, if Zahard... I don't know. It's weird. It's really weird. Like, if Zahard somehow became Wangnan, Karaka, and the boss, or however many princes, you know, whether he became Ho, Sunwoo Nare, Hansung, Arya as well, who knows. But if he's not around, that would be like if he's just not around right now, that's good about circumventing. But yeah, so I think Wangnan really does care about Baum in that sense, too. So I think Wangnan is one of the people who most genuinely respects Baum. I think Yiwa also does to a great degree, despite the fact that Yiwa uses Baum for emotional support in a slightly healthier way than Androssi does. But I think Yiwa's sacrifice at the end of Name Hunt kind of says it all for that. Like, I think she'd react differently if she didn't legitimately care for Baum. That's how I feel about Yua's connection to him as well. But I don't really think she ever had a crush on him. I kind of get it, but I think it's like a weird instance of SIU just kind of doing comedy writing for me. I think that was just like SIU making a comedy character. Yeah. It's not the same way as like Androssi desires Baum in that sense. Now, are any we can also talk a little bit about Jin Sung too and how much he cares for Baum, but I'm gonna be honest, like I think it's kind of obvious at this point. Like, I think Jin Sung is like very obviously he veers more towards using. Like I think Jin Sung has been discussed enough. Maybe not enough. Maybe not enough because I think the kind of public take, I think, is still that Jin Sung legitimately cares about Baum, Jin Sung does purely care about Baum, as a person after like kind of being ashamed of the use he put him through. But the issue here is Jin Sung always sees Baum. Jin Sung always describes Baum as a student, despite him thinking to himself that he wants to keep Baum out of danger. He doesn't want Baum to come rescue him. He cares about Baum a little, but I still think that Jin Sung cares about Baum more as a tool to fulfill his goals, rather than the person himself. Jin Sung is never really Jin Sung has never truly helped Baum be free of FUG. Like, Jin Sung has always kept an eye on Baum, which, while it does protect him from some negative forces, like, the fact that he still has support, still tries to, the fact that Jin Sung still tries to, like, do things for, like, prevent him from getting on the train, you know, going to Namehunt Station, taking orders from Hawaii Reunion, it still cements Baum and Jin Sung's relationship being as a student and teacher of FUG. And I think no matter how much Jin Sung thinks about, like, Baum's safety, it's still ultimately coming from it's kind of like the Kaiser situation. Jin Sung knows that, like, using Baum is wrong, but it doesn't stop him. Like, it doesn't stop him from still trying to, like, be close. And you could argue that a lot of stuff, like him coming to the last station, is him trying to, like, right his wrongs and stuff. But, like, Jin Sung is pretty hypocritical in that. Like, Jin Sung is pretty hypocritical in that he still put Baum through a lot. He doesn't really apologize for that. It doesn't really seem like he regrets doing what he did to Baum. And I think he would if he, like, genuinely cared about Baum as a human being. He does try to protect Baum. And it's not like he doesn't care about him at all, but it's like a much more obvious example of what Aguero does with Baum, where, like, Jin Sung still tries to keep him on the path of the Slayer. He wants Baum to live freely, but is still confident that Baum will continue to, like, that Baum will continue to go the way that he wants him to. That's like the issue with Jin Sung being the actual father figure to Baum. If you guys, I know a lot of people really do believe in the Jin Sung relationship. I know Jin Sung's, like, pretty much a fan favorite. So if anyone here, like, disagrees with me, like, you know, speak up. I'm like totally happy to dive in on that further. But I think Jin Sung is another example of, like, this twisted love. FUG is actually kind of a fun example of, like, a bad found family in ToG. Because FUG, they're united over, you know, malicious goals. And not necessarily malicious goals, but they do a lot of malicious things. But they all, one way or another, fight with or support each other. All major organizations in ToG are, like, bad. But, like, teams in ToG are generally kind of good. I guess Rachel's is a little different. We can talk about Team Rachel next and their little family. Could Wangnan have to kill Jin Sung? Maybe. I still think Hua-Ryun is the first on the list. Hua-Ryun is, like, the first person that I see happening. Wait, who gains the mindset for making a new king? It could be Zahard. That'd be a really, really fun twist if it was Zahard. My issue with that is my only issue with Wangnan killing Zahard or being tasked to is that, I mean, and it doesn't necessarily conflict because I don't think Wangnan is going to follow through on the sword deal. My only issue is that I'm, like, 100% convinced that Rachel will kill Zahard. Like, I'm like, you cannot tell me, you could not convince me that Rachel will not be the one to kill Zahard. Like, she's gonna sneak up on him. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, Baum is gonna fight him. They're both gonna be at the limit. They're both gonna be at the absolute limit. And then Rachel is gonna swoop in and kill Zahard when Baum is gonna spare him. Baum is gonna forgive him. I guarantee you Baum is going to spare Zahard. And then Rachel is gonna kill him. I guarantee it. 100%. But yeah, it's really weird. I wonder how Zahard feels about Wangnan. Like, I know, so, like, Zahard has this whole thing about, like, cutting himself off from love and seeing everyone equally. Like, he cuts off the people closest to him. He sees everyone under him, except for the 10 family leaders, according to Caliban, equally. And I wonder if there's anyone he still cares about, or I wonder if there's anyone he does care about beyond that. Like, would he care about the princes if they're related to him? You know, like how does he feel about certain people? I think he cares about Baum to an extent, actually. I mean, since Baum isn't a regular, he probably just views him on a different level. I also think that Zahard really does care about his emblem. I actually still think that Zahard operates... I'm not going to justify what Zahard does. I think Zahard is very, very explicitly, like, the main antagonist. Or the main overarching, like, bad guy at Tower of God, but if not Arlene. But I do think that everything Zahard does is to preserve the tower. Like, I do think in a grand scale, he's like the bad Wangnan. Like, he cares about the tower, but he only cares about the tower as a whole, and not the individuals within it. And so, to that end, like, that's why, you know, he commits genocide and shit, to, like, keep his power consolidated, because he probably feels like he's the only one that can protect them. Like, maybe Zahard does what he does because he places the burden on himself to protect everything. I don't know, that could be it. That's pure headcanon speculation, but that could be another example of the twisted love that we're talking about. If he was, wait, what is this? Is it me? Okay, the proof that supports Wangnan's 12 to 5 fate. Why would adult Zahard allow anyone to leave the hidden floor? I guess so. I mean, I do think that Zahard is... I can't imagine Zahard not setting the army up for failure. Like, my biggest issue is, like, Zahard didn't have to just slowly strangle... But Zahard could have killed everyone really fucking fast on the hidden floor. He could have just killed everyone really fucking fast. And, you know, there's got to be some reason he can't move. Because, well, maybe. But, like, if Zahard could move, the choke was a false fight. Yeah, it was a prank, dude. It was just a prank. Baum activates the thorn. Bro, it's just a prank. It's just a prank, bro. But, yeah. Maybe... I think this is going to be kind of crazy, actually. I think Zahard pities Baum. I think Zahard pities Baum, actually. It's the way he talks to him. Like, Baum isn't really his enemy. Baum is like an obstacle to him. Like, I don't know how to really describe it, but like, he, like, exactly, like, he doesn't really view... Like, I think he pities Baum's role in this. Like, he sees Baum... If he sees Baum as a tool, then he knows that, like, it's not Baum's fault. I think... I wonder why he killed the child, to be honest. I wonder if he did that out of jealousy. I would not be, like, amazingly surprised if he didn't actually, like, hate the kid. I wouldn't be that surprised. I don't know. But that's, like, the actual kid, though. So, like, there wasn't really a reason to kill, like, a regular kid unless it was also part of a big prophecy or something that he was trying to circumvent. So who knows? Yeah, like, I think maybe. I think maybe, Raj, you could be right. Like, Zahard accidentally started it by killing the child, so Arlene would, like, end up resurrecting it, but who knows? But yeah. Do you guys think there are any, okay, actually, do you guys think that... and we talked a little bit about this, towards the beginning, when it comes to Rachel, when it comes to Team Rachel, and the crazy usage that goes on between Rachel and her teammates, they are still, I mean, they are partners. Do you, like, to what extent does Rachel care about To what extent is there love on Rachel's team? Is my question. Like, there's obviously the care that Rachel and Yura have for each other. Like, those two can relate to each other. There is actually, like, there is a common bond that they share in terms of both of them feel like they're not loved by anyone genuinely. Like, Yura was abandoned by her family. Like, everyone but her mom. So, like, everyone, like, Yura's family, the people that should love her in the normal world, are, like, out to kill her, probably. Like, almost definitely, they are out to kill Yura. Like, they killed her dad, they captured her mom, if not killed her as well. So, and then Rachel, as also, from the moment she entered the tower, felt disgusting and unloved. I think that could be a common bond between them. I think Rachel was certainly using Yura to some extent, at least in the beginning, but that definitely transitioned into a genuine friendship. Like, you can just see it in their interactions. You see Yura, at least Yura clings on to Rachel. At least Yura really likes Rachel, and I think for that reason. Like, Rachel doesn't, like, Rachel kind of appreciates Yura for the person. I think Yura thinks that Rachel appreciates her for the person that she is. And Rachel can connect with Yura over kind of feeling unloved by everyone else. Although I don't know how much of that information Rachel has divulged to other people. But I guess if we're really, and if we're really extending, I really want to know how they feel about Traveler. Like, I mean, they spent, like, they spent, like, a couple of years climbing together, right? So I really want to know how Rachel gets along, like, Rachel and Yura get along with Traveler and Kasano. I can believe Kasano's pretty aloof. Like, I can believe Kasano's aloof from that group. And I can kind of believe that Traveler is, like, scared of people. Like, he might be a little aloof. Like, he's probably a little, like, nervous to be around them. But after a certain amount of time, they would have had to, like, fucking eat dinner together, right? Like, they'd have had to be around together. So I'm thinking, like, how do you guys think that Traveler felt about, like, Rachel and Yura? He's still hiding information from that. Like, he's still hiding information from, like, Androssi and, like, Baum's group, which is kind of crazy. Because, like, well, not crazy, but, like, he knew Viol. Like, he knows Baum. I assume they got along. Like, I assume he at least got along with Rachel and Yura. I think he always was okay with Kasano. Kasano kind of took him under his wing, so I think he always appreciated Kasano in that sense. But I would really have liked to see just like one chapter, or like some viewpoint of like Traveler or Rachel, just to see how like everyone on that team gets along. You always see like you never see it's like Rachel and Yura and White kind of making the plans. Like, you never see what Traveler and Kasano have to say about that. So maybe they were, like, really more just cut off. But Traveler, the one thing I'm kind of thinking is that if Traveler is, like, really hiding information there, one of two things is going on. One is you're right in that Traveler came to respect them, and Traveler was never poisoned in terms of that group. Like, Traveler never... I'm sure Traveler has reservations about Joaquin, but Traveler was never, he was never taught to hate them the way that, like, the others and their the other people and their negative experiences kind of destroyed the impression of Rachel's team. Traveler never had that. But is this artificial hatred? I don't think it's artificial hatred. Well, it's interesting. It depends on who. It depends on who. Some of it's natural. Some of it's natural and some of it's artificial. I think like Kuhn's team, Aguero's team is artificial hatred. Aguero poisoned that team. Well, I'll amend that statement. Aguero's team started as artificial hatred. And then Aguero's teammates betrayed him, and it became natural hatred. So, kinda. It's hard to say whether... It's kind of interesting, like, it's hard to say whether, Here's my question. This could help. Why did they betray Kun? Like, why did they poison Yatang? Why did they get away from Aguero? Was it because Aguero felt closer to, like, getting his revenge? Was it just because it was time for Rachel to go to the work? Like, I mean, I know they were always plants. Like, yes, they were always plants, but, like, why did they betray him then? Because, like, couldn't they have climbed together through the workshop, gotten Emily, and then just, like they could have just, you know, like, they could have just done, they could have just kind of continued as normal. Like, instead of Rachel needing to find Casino and them and stuff, like, she could have just used Aguero's team to do everything she needed to do on the Hell Train. And it's not like Aguero would have any reservations about, you know, resurrecting White and stuff. Like, Aguero's definitely not going to have issues with Slayers if he's, you know, trying to take over the Kun family. I mean, well, he'll have some issues with Slayers, but, I mean, he needs someone to, you know, kill and want at the end of the day, or at least depose him. So it's I guess, like, the timing is weird for me. So that's why I feel like it was artificial hatred, and it became natural. I mean, honestly, maybe they just thought it was too risky just to keep going with him. Zahard and the 3-eye trademark. 3 from the red light, each have 1 emotion of this. Wangnan is caring for people, Karaka is gaining... maybe. Wait. The 3, like 3 types of immortality? I get how they're different. I mean, I see... I don't know if I'd quite describe it that way, but I think I see where you're coming from. Like, it's the 3 different facets of Zahard. The boss has his love of adventure. Wangnan has his... It's still speculation to say how much Zahard cared for people of the tower. Wangnan could be, you know, his emotional care. And Karaka's kind of the... the thing about Karaka is I think might represent the demon inside him. And the reason I say that is because you have the tentacles. Like, Karaka has his tentacles. I think Karaka represents his powers. You could be right about Karaka's, like, the acquisition of power. And Karaka is pretty power hungry. Maybe Karaka could be his ambition. Although Wangnan's very ambitious as well. So you're onto something there. I think you're onto something. Karaka does have his brain. That is definitely something Wangnan doesn't have, but it is something that I think the boss might have. So, yeah, there is a theme in Tower of God of tentacles being bad. That's another example of quite literally twisted love. Tentacles being bad. I think you're definitely right there. But yeah. Yeah, I wonder, like, there are all these instances of, like, people really only hate Rachel's team because of the stories they've heard. Like, the only thing I think Rachel's team really does that's, like, mega evil is reviving Joaquin. Like, that's definitely, like, a really bad thing. Rachel has done other evil things. Yura has done other evil things. Like, as a team, though. Well, no, they do other things. They try to sacrifice Misang, which I think is, you know, quite evil of them. They try to sacrifice Misang to get into the floor of death, which is, you know, a little bit mean of them. Yura's definitely a very evil person, but Yura definitely is also... I think Yura's actually also a really good example of, like, twisted love. Like, she'll put... Like, if she cares about somebody, she'll put them first, and then just, like... She'll like, beat the shit out of anyone else. It's kind of like Yura's crazy. Yura's insane in, like, how picky she is in that case. Like, Yura's very much a... Yura's very much like a everyone else go die person. I mean, Yura just hates people, I think, in general. Yura just hates people except for like one or two. My headcanon though is that Rachel and Traveler were good friends. But I think there really is an element of there probably is an element of genuine care on that team. Although I still have like trouble coming to terms with how they like interact with Hakeem in that regard. But I know even Hakeem was like interested in Rachel. But it does feel weird to me that Traveler could get along, for instance, with somebody like Hakeem. Yura wouldn't care. Yura would be fine with it. Kasano would probably be okay with it. Traveler you got in the corner, like, I don't want to be near this guy. And then, of course, Hockney probably wouldn't mind either, to be quite honest. Hockney doesn't really seem like he has too many moral reservations. Could Androssi ask Emily for... Oh my god. That'd be so funny, dude. Having, like, having Emily do a scam for the Traveler Pass, that'd be amazing. That would be incredible. Here's another question of who really cares for Baum. Is, what do you guys think about Yuri's love for Baum? Obviously, Yuri's like a big sister figure. Like, I know Yuri says he's like cute, but that's definitely just kind of a humor mechanism for Yuri, in my opinion. Oh no, Yura's similar to Aguero in her obsession, and probably general misanthropy. I'm a gigantic Yura fan myself, but I think Yura is a very interesting character, very vile, very pathetic, but very interesting. What do you guys think about Yuri's love for Baum, though? Like, in what sense is she attracted to, like, why is she attracted to Baum? Does she care for Baum legitimately as a person? The obvious answer for sure. Does she care about him legitimately as a person? Or to what extent does she also use him? And I think she also covers this middle ground, but I actually would say that she veers on the side of use. I would say it's like 70%, 75% use. I think here's my thing about Yuri. I think Yuri cares about Baum in the sense it's like I'm trying to figure out the words to explain it. Yuri cares about Baum not in that she cares about Baum specifically the way like Aguero or someone does, but like Yuri, I think, cares about Yuri, I think, has a strong sense of justice, and to her, she cares about Baum in the sense that she doesn't want Baum to be wronged or used as much as she wants anyone else to be treated that way. Like, Yuri just doesn't like it when people are treated as such. And I think that's kind of as far as her legitimate care goes. And I know people really, like, I know Yuri's such a fan favorite. I'm not saying this makes Yuri a bad character or anything. I'm not going to insult Yuri's, like, the quality of Yuri's character for this. But in terms of, like, what she does with Baum, she's definitely along for the ride. Like, Yuri and Mashini are both characters that want change more than anything. And at least that's what we think about Mashini right now, I think. That's what I think about Mashini right now. But Yuri sees Baum as a catalyst for change. So Yuri sticks with him the same way as Jin Sung. Like she wants to protect Baum because she has a lot of high hopes in him. She wants him to change the tower, but also like she could care less about Baum finding out who he is and stuff. Like, she can care less about Baum going to the floor of death. She can care less about Baum actually finding out who he is. To me, it really looks like she just wants to see what Baum does. And, like, climb the tower and change things. Like, I think she wants him to help her change the system of the tower for, you know, better or worse. We still don't really know how she wants to change the tower. She wants change in a very general sense, and I think it may have something related to, like, you know, 10 family justice or something like that, but it's one of, like, Yuri's certainly never been critical of the 10 families. So I don't really know what change Yuri is going for in general anyway. So it's one of those things where I feel like she really is just using Baum to develop his power and just witness something entertaining in that sense. I think Mashini, it's kind of funny, Mashini has clearer goals and a clearer use case for Baum at this point than Yuri does. I think Yuri's goals are actually more vague at the end of the day than Mashini's, unless they really are just as simple as, like, she just wants to, like, shake things up in the tower and you know, put powerful people out of commission, or just, like, I guess just, like, change the general system of the 10 families or something like that. Because Yuri certainly doesn't have a problem with using her princess power in any capacity. She doesn't she doesn't like FUG. She's still a supporter of the Empire at the end of the day. She's still a supporter of the Empire at the end of the day. I was watching a video on Nia put out a video on the future of Yuri today. And I guess he made some claims about what he wanted for Yuri's character, and just having Yuri kind of observe Baum from her perspective, seeing an arc like that. And that would be useful for understanding Yuri's motivations and understanding whether or not she does want to use Baum or whether she does care for him. I think at this point SIU does want to write people like they legitimately care for Baum, but at the same time they still none of them really, it's still just like a bit of hypocrisy on almost every character's part, where none of them actually try to get Baum to reconsider not reconsider, but like nobody really pushes Baum to think for himself besides Urek. Urek's like the only person that really does that. So I think for Yuri, I agree that she does primarily use him. Now, when it comes to love, I guess what I want to, we're getting towards kind of the end of my list of, the end of my list of discussion points here. But do you guys think there are positive representations of, where do you guys think the main positive representations of love come from in Tower of God? The most obvious example, in my opinion, is Team Sweet and Sour. I think they have very sweet and genuine interactions where they look out for each other. Like, you have this really nice moment. Hand of Arlene is an incredible arc for tons of reasons, but also for showing how much Sweet and Sour cares about each other. You have, like, a chain of Sweet and Sour members going off after one another. And Sweet and Sour members, like, trying to understand one another and getting them to, like, having them, like, respecting each other's goals while also making sure they stay in a good place. That's a really interesting arc. We don't even get that much Sweet and Sour in Hand of Arlene. Like, they're certainly not the focus of it. But the development you get with them is certainly very important for showing how genuine their friendships are. I think another really positive example is Rack's relationship with Aguero. I think Rack and Aguero are actually quite good at supporting each other. They have Yura's care for Rachel also, in that Yura and Rack are somewhat, no, they're different. Never mind. I think Rack also if you guys have other examples, especially if you guys have any ideas on, like, romantic love, feel free to chime in there, because I think that's especially rare to see a positive instance of in this webtoon. But Rack, Goseng and Horyang is pretty nice. They just like each other. That's one of those things where it's like you just see they like each other. Like, SIU just states it in the beginning. Horyang, like, SIU just, like, right on her introduction is like, Horyang likes Goseng. And then eventually you have Goseng warming up to that in the workshop arc. You don't really see that answered until the workshop arc. Gosang does not get any focus. I am super interested in a Traveler arc. I don't think Traveler's love is really genuine, but it is very interesting. It's really weird. It's like I can't begin to define I don't know where Traveler got the impression that Emily was a human. Like, I don't know where Traveler got the impression that Emily was still a real... Like, I don't know how Traveler came to that conclusion himself. But, like, he believes in her as a person. And wants to find... And for some unknown reason... Yeah, I guess so. For some unknown reason... Love and save the person behind Emily. It's really weird, and I don't know if that's just because, like, I mean, his name is Traveler. He's an anonymous figure. He's invisible. And so maybe, I don't know how he came to the conclusion, but if he did, then there's kind of, what he might see in her is somebody who's invisible, like him. Traveler's a very invisible character. You see there are like a million people like him as well. So he's someone who's lacking individuality in that sense. Like on a societal level, he's lacking individuality. Nobody sees him, and that's also that's probably part of his design choice, why he's hooded and goggled and stuff, and you can rarely see his eyes. But he might feel that bond of kinship. I think it's him projecting a little bit and looking for something that might not be there. But I will say that a Traveler, at least having some chapters of a future arc dedicated to Traveler, is really good. I used to really hope for, I don't think there's a chance of it happening now, I used to really hope for a second workshop arc that would focus on stopping Rachel from igniting Emily, and I wanted to see how Traveler's relationship with Team Rachel changed as Traveler was maybe still looking to save Emily in some capacity and stop her from being used and still believing there's a person powering her, whereas Rachel is using them and creating friction between the two. That was something I was really interested in seeing. And something I would still be interested in seeing it. I just don't really think that's going to happen anymore. I have no idea how the workshop would come back into play or how Emily would come into play. Emily's been such a neglected plot element for so long. Yuri sees Baum with potential to change the tower like Urek. His looks... Yeah, looks +1. Yeah, I get that too. That's fair. That's definitely fair. She could view... I don't think she couldn't be Baum's friend either. But it's one of the it's kind of similar. Yuri is kind of similar to Aguero in that regard, where one of the main reasons Aguero just saw that Baum was different and might have had the potential to change things, as soon as he saw him with the 13 months. He knew that Baum was different and Baum was special. I think Yuri, and that, Aguero's desires have evolved over time. But Yuri's probably someone who just still... I think Yuri's someone who still sees him like that. So, yeah. It's pretty... I guess it's... comparing those two is kind of interesting. It's not a comparison I ever thought that I would really make. But, yeah, and so I think... But I would really love to see a Traveler arc. Another positive one... I think is... What was I gonna... I think, alright. Maybe I'm stretching it here. This is positive. I think this is positive in the sense that nothing really negative has caught my eye about it yet. Cha and Dewan, I think, is wholesome. I don't think there's any... I don't see any issues with Cha and Dewan. I think they have a... They have tension, in their relationship as Dewan struggles with figuring out what she wants, and figuring out whether or not to trust Baum. But the actual connection between Cha and Dewan, I think, is also just founded on a place of like mutual affection and a common goal, which I don't think they don't really manipulate or use each other, as far as I've seen. They have their issues, but it's fine. Oh yeah, I mean, I'm sure they kind of. I would argue Madarako probably does. I assume Madarako does. The issue, I think when you're I don't think a Slayer could do it. I think it would have to be an Elder. Like Madarako's a merchant. Like he probably has plenty of legitimate operations. No, actually, Yama we kind of get with that. Like nothing Yama does is actually for the goal of helping Like nothing Yama does before the plot begins has really been for any goal of helping FUG. Yama's just kind of running his fucking business, is making money, lifting weights. Karika could, but Karika seems very much ruled by his desire. Karika, I think, very much is a slave to his revenge. That'd be hype. I mean, I'd love it. It'd be really fun to see. The people that I could think really just doing that are like someone like Traveler, like someone on Team Rachel. Like Team Rachel is the team that I see having like regular personal lives. But yeah, Yama's a little different. Another great example of twisted love. Two other great examples of twisted love that we've seen recently are actually our favorite flashback victims, Haracha and Kendrick. Both of them are very much good examples of this really insane love. I mean, it's real. Like, I mean, what's crazy to me, like, I know I think we disagree on the importance of Haracha's flashback, but I think let's go to Haracha first, and then we'll go to Kendrick. Haracha uses his people to justify, like, everything he did, which is insane. Like, he's crazy in that sense. Oh my god. Like, I mean, he fought to his heart's content. He did, like, as far as this, like, he says himself he became a monster. And he says he did it because he did it all because he wanted to give his people like, he wanted to give his tribe more status, more wealth. Exactly. He reasoned it, but I guess, like, right at the end, it's like he half realizes it at the end. He realizes it was his fault at the end. He realizes it was him that did it. But he also still asserts that it was out of love. Which is like, that's really, like, that's insane. That's insane. Not like, I think it's awesome. I think, yeah, based on Sung, I think it's awesome. Like, it's such an awesome perspective to see in the story. But he's a really, like, he was crazy delusional. He was complex. He's fucking Lee's levels of, like, delusion and, like, lying to himself. It's awesome. Could the princess that gave the Hell Train ticket to Yuri be in command of Emily? For her, the tower is a game. She's playing it like a game. I cannot begin to know what Repalista's planning. I have one insane headcanon that I'm, like, too embarrassed to say. But I really don't know what Repalista wants. DL is also very insane too. Okay, I'll say this. Yeah, I know they like, okay. I really want Repelista to be, like, batshit crazy. I really want Repelista to be, like, insanely delusional. Like, not in the way that, like, Adori's a fanatic of Zahard, but, like, I want I don't even, I guess she's very childish already. Like, she's very childish, and just, like, she does treat everything like a game. I think you're right there, Yorkies. But you want to be called Dire Yorkies. But, could she be in command of Emily? For her, also, you might be very far behind, Dire Yorkies. I don't know if it just takes you a while to type this stuff, or if you're, like, a half hour behind. But we're so far ahead of the things you say, I think. I still value what you have to say, though. But the I think for Repelista, I don't know. I really wonder what she wants to see. I think Repelista's working for one of two things. One of two vague things. One is a very general entertainment, and the other is okay. I want to know why she's interested in the Prince of Zahard. That's, like, the big thing for me. Depending on who she was talking about. It massively changes what I think Repelista's goal is. I would really like, if she's there's a boring route and a fun route to me. If she's talking about Baum, that's kind of the boring route for me. Because well, it doesn't really negate the things, a more fun role she could play for me if she's talking about Baum. If she's talking about Baum, then I think she wants to unlock the door to the, I think she wants one of two things. She just wants to unlock the door to the tower. Like, she either just wants to unlock the way up the tower, or she just wants to see, like, things shaken up the way Masheni does. But she wants to be an observer instead of a fighter. Like, all of this is just for her entertainment. If it's Wangnan, I think a lot more intrigue comes up with the rings. And, like, I think that ties her more closely to knowing about the rings and knowing about the months. She already knows about the months, obviously, but I think that kind of brings her closer to the months and closer to the key. And I think it's going to be either, again, unlocking the way up the tower to see, like, what's beyond it. Maybe to see something she's never seen before, since she's so intent on watching things with her lighthouse. But maybe, and this is my insane headcanon. I'm kind of embarrassed to say this. I think Repelista might be, okay, so here's the thing. Repelista locks herself away in her villa. Like, locks herself away in a floating castle. Part of me thinks that Repelista is so delusional that she actually wants to play the role of a princess in a tower and get saved by a prince. And I think that Wangnan fits that role better than Baum. I think if she's obsessed with the Prince of Zahard, I think she puts herself in the role, like, since she, like, I kind of view her as, like, someone who like watches things and looks for entertainment. So I kind of view her as wanting to play a role in a story. And I view her as she might be, that would also kind of fit into a view of, that would fit into another form of twisted love. Where she just views herself as a role in a story and wanting to be wanting to play the role of the princess that like marries the handsome prince at the end. I don't, like, that's kind of that's my headcanon that I will never usually talk about with Repelista. Not really headcanon, but that's what I would kind of want to see from her. I think that would make her really interesting. I really like the idea of her being that delusional that she could actually believe in that facade purpose of like collecting the 13 months and shit to like actually like become like the real princess or something like that, something weird like that. It would be super easy to make that really fucking cringe. It would really be easy to fuck up that kind of writing, but it's like conceptually I think it could work. And it would also give her, I guess, you know, a form of delusion, some delusional love herself, like trying to like be this princess to like either Bong or Wangnan or something without even knowing the first thing about them, or having any care at all for what they would, you know, for how they would feel about things and what they want. That would be really cool. We'll probably get something cool with it, or we'll probably get something kind of similar with fanaticism for Zahard in terms of a Dory as well, but we gotta wait. Wangnan, the Possible Prince, is a character to her. Like the game with different classes too, to see who beats Zahard and open. Okay, wait. Okay, yeah, exactly. I can see that. I can see that as well. That's definitely, yeah. That probably definitely falls into the. Not probably, definitely. That definitely falls into, like, that entertainment motivation. I actually was really hoping, in terms of a character just for entertainment, this does kind of go on tangent again. I would love it if my desired character for Teperie, is just him being kind of this insane mad god who just, like, watches everyone. Like, he just watches everything with the eyes of God or the opera or something for the pure sake of entertainment. And just, like watching things and, like, laughing about it. Like, I would love that. Like, he's seen everything and he just views it all as entertainment at this point. I know Bones thinks that Teperie is working with Gustang, I think, in Tower of Answers, which is also very interesting. Like the main thing for Teperie, I think he thought was that since he has the eyes of God, he saw something beyond what's currently going on in the tower. So he's also been like setting up a lot from behind the scenes to carry out a more long-term fate. Like, he knows the direction that things are going to go, so he's also working against Zahard. That was the gist of what Bones had on him in Tower of Answers, which I thought was very interesting. But who knows what he'll come out as. I am really interested in seeing what the Eyes of God end up being like. SIU's gonna Yama backstory him. Oh man, that would crush me. That would really crush me. I wonder what he's gonna do to Lopo Bia. We'll see. But next, let's go to Kendrick DL. And Kendrick is also pretty interesting in his own example of, I'm gonna sneeze again, depravity. Uh-oh. So I guess Kendrick is presented initially as this very kind person. You know, someone who wants to help people, someone who's kind to animals, someone who, like, wants to be friends with weaker beings of the tower, I guess. And... Is this a ReZero reference? The bunnies? I guess it's not a ReZero reference if the rabbits are the ones that are getting killed. But, like, you have Kendrick starting out as being, like, a friend to these weaker beings, and you have Yasracha slowly pointing out that Kendrick wanted to feel in control. I'm curious as to what you guys think. Did Kendrick really want to be... Did Kendrick, like, really want to be in control of, Did Kendrick really always just want to be in control? Was he always just obsessed with that and was always kind of this corrupted person? Or was it Yasracha? Was it Yasracha that changed him and made him think, made him start to think differently? Like, where does it come from in that regard? I think it was. Like, I think he was naive at first. I agree with you. I think Kendrick was naive at first. But then Yasracha just cements this idea of controlling people into his head. And he sees how easily Yasracha can do it well. And he starts, like, envying that power, you know? And he certainly feels bad about what happens to all the animals. So it's kind of, like, it's really interesting. It's really interesting to watch him, like, slowly buy into the idea of the food chain more and more. And while it's nice to outgrow your naivety, also having Yasracha just really point out, just really deliver Kendrick's corruption so heavy-handedly. That he just wants to dominate other people. Yeah. Yeah, I think I generally agree. Like, he's strawmanning him, essentially. He's strawmanning him, and somehow it just clicks. Sriracha's a persuasive guy. I mean, he does it really well with manipulating Paraja as well, so. But yeah, it's interesting. It's yeah. Yeah, there are better ways to go about it for DL. So it's kind of tragic just how depraved he becomes at the end of this. And it's also interesting that, like, at the end of the day, I think he does become. I think what's interesting to me is that he does fully acknowledge whereas, so what's interesting is that one of the differences between Hiracha and DL is that Hiracha is still kind of under the illusion of his. Hiracha never breaks through the illusion that he really loved, like, his tribe. Like, he never breaks through that. He dies thinking that. But Kendrick, DL, really does get past that phase of genuine care. Like, even, like, in his final moments, even when he sees the animals, he still views them as, like, their leader and, like, their tools as opposed to, like, things he wants to take care of. Like, the way, like, when he says, like, I've always looked after animals, are you trying to help me? That's just like that really just comes off as a desperate move from him to protect himself, rather than him, like, rather than him really, like, seeing his care for animals as his primary motivator again. And so he's still trying to use them until the end. And you just see his desperation here, and he's, like, his depravity really got the better of him. Yasracha fully broke the illusion of his compassion. Not the illusion. Yasracha fully broke his compassion. Yasracha fully broke this man. What I also think is kind of funny, though, and in Kendrick DL's case, I love that Yasracha's like, Kendrick, why are you floating around in a chair now? And he's like, oh, man, well, I just thought, I'm a leader now. I don't need to walk anymore. I don't need legs anymore. Animals have legs. I have transcended humanity. But then in the meantime, day after day, they just walk by, Lopo Bia Hasacha. And they're like, yeah, what's up, Hasacha? She's fucking floating on the ghosts everywhere. She's like, yeah, how's it going? Nobody's like, wow, Hasacha, you don't walk, you're so depraved. I don't know what to say there. Yeah. It's pretty funny. It's pretty funny how little respect Yasracha has for him at the end of the day. I mean, Yasracha probably just did that from the beginning, There we go. That's another form of twisted love. Why did Yasracha capture Hasacha? Was it for her power? Was it for her legs? What was it for? I don't know. I still really want I really want like some kind of arbitrary, really basic explanation for why Hasacha's in the army. Like I just want like it was my high school prom. I was having my first slow dance, and then Yasracha ripped off the roof of my school and then killed everyone but me. And he told me, hey, climb the tower and then join my army. And so I climbed the tower and joined his army. Since I was in the Ha family, it was very easy for me to become a ranker. I don't know. It would be, yeah, exactly. I was always, Hasacha's like, I was always an anime fan. When I climbed the tower, I always found cat people. I always tried to climb with cat people in the tower. I wanted to be one of them. Finally, I met Yasracha. He promised me cat ears, and I agreed. That'd be funny. God damn, I mean, look at that, dude. This is actually wild. This is really wild. You have become wonderfully corrupt. There's actually, it's interesting, Yasracha really just likes corrupting people, too. That's kind of his being able to control people is also a form of twisted love in some regard. Like he does it to Haracha. He orchestrates a lot of those situations, but it's easy for Yasracha, or it's easy for these people to just give in once Yasracha like gets him going. He and White share that in a sense. I don't even want to get into the topic of like White and twisted love because I don't understand that well enough. It's really crazy. I think Yasracha really likes. I think Yasracha really does like dominating people. I mean, yeah, White is towards some goal. Yasracha likes dominating people for the sake of it. I think part of it, and I think he alluded to this in one of the chapters, is that he does. A, he likes it, but B, I think he's also. There was an element of I think he says that he's just a pet of the lore, like of the Lopo Beahead. I think at one point he says that. I think so. I don't know. I think Yama's kind of different to me. I think we need to know what happened with Wang Wang to figure that out. I love how there's a character named Wang Wang and another character named Deng Deng. And then one named Jia Jia. And then Nia Nia. Sometimes SIU's creativity hits a low point. But yeah, I could argue. I could argue it is. I would say it's probably out of some kind of twisted love. I don't know if it's a theme, but it's like an element. Like it's a major element. I would say it's a theme. I would say it's I would say it's not the. I would not say it's the theme, but it is a major. I'd say it's a major theme. I would say. The issue with saying it's a theme is that there are so many examples of it. Like there are so many examples of it, but I still don't know how it comes together. The closest I've gotten is making the observation that love and Tower of God is the choice to put somebody over everything else. And that enables people to commit war crimes. Like I don't know how to eloquently put that, but it enables people to love is a driving force that enables people to sacrifice everything else around them. That's the closest I can get to say to understanding what SIU is saying about love and Tower of God. Or maybe it's that, or I think probably, and I think you said this when we last talked about it in the ToG server, was SIU is not using love as a theme specifically, but is tying love to desire, and is showing how people become ruled by their desires, and how that desire corrupts them in the tower, makes them hurt people, makes them sacrifice others, all for the sake of the goal, to the extent that they lose sight of what they are of what they were originally pursuing. I guess, or that might be a stretch at the end, but love, or I think it's really about how desire corrupts people. And the thing about saying love is the theme, love is probably a theme, but the thing about saying it's the theme, there's plenty of stuff in ToG that doesn't relate to love, and you can tie it there eventually, but there's so much stuff that doesn't. I will say another positive example of love that I did want to say, but we got sidetracked by the Hiracha stuff, or the Yasracha core. There is genuine devotion somewhere with Caliban that has not really been that well explained, but was still nice to see. But what I was really gonna say, I just thought of that one on the spot, was that there is love in Shibizu's team. There is genuine care in how Shibizu's team treats each other. There's a genuine desire to help Anak climb the tower on Shibizu's part and Androssi's part. There is, Name Hunt Station is a very good example of seeing how much that team cares about each other. Despite how much they fight and stuff, Shibizu and Hatsu really give it all to keep to save Androssi and to protect Anak. And Androssi, even Androssi and Hatsu, and then went, apparently, we don't really know why this was, or I guess it was related to the twin planning, but they say they went originally for Shibizu and Anak's sake as well, to the Name Hunt Station. So you actually really do get the sense that they have a very genuine bond with each other. Shibizu is someone who also just loves people in general. So that's another example of positive love. I don't think that team uses each other to nearly the same extent that the other people we talked about here have. But I would like to see some more positive. I would like to see two things regarding love and ToG going forward. One is for more positive examples of love to be shown, to help differentiate what is genuine care and what is people using each other for their own goals. The two can certainly blend together, and I think we've definitely demonstrated that in this stream. But I'd like to see that, and I would also see negative love be actually commented on by characters in the story, because I think while SIU shows it, SIU shows it, but I do think he leaves it up to the reader too much to actually notice it. You need, no characters in Tower of God actually point out, not no characters. It is extremely rare for characters to point out when people are using each other. And it is weird. It's very rare for the story to actually frame it as having a negative effect. I think we're only starting to get that now, with how Baum is being pushed to the limit by people putting him in this situation with rescuing Jin Sung and stuff. Part of that's his choice, but part of it's also definitely people pushing him in this direction, people pushing him to keep going, and people pushing him to make choices that have gotten him into this situation to begin with. And so I want to see that. I want to see that criticized by characters in story, because while it's easy for a lot of us to pick up on it outside of the story, there's a real risk of SIU not actually commenting on it and leading to a lot of unfulfilled payoffs and a lot of nominal heroism where SIU has these characters do bad things and put their supposed friends in bad situations, and the story, or SIU, expecting us to support them anyway, without actually having them like realize when they're wrong about something, or realize when they're hurting each other. I think that's an examination that really needs to happen in the story itself, and I'm really hoping that we start getting that after this confrontation with White wraps up one way or another, and like the next time Baum sees Aguero, they actually like tension forms between them. They talk about how they've used each other, how they've like, or how Aguero's used him, how Aguero's held things from him, and that like that's the start of that. Understanding if Yuri was just using Baum, understanding like having Yuri understand if she was just using Baum or if she does care about him, and like what is Yuri willing to sacrifice if she finds out that like Baum is dangerous. How is she going to react to that? Is she still just going to prioritize the change she wants with like risk to tons of the people around her, or is she going to try to change his path and still care about him? Is she going to go against him? That would be an examination of her love for him. What is Wangnan going to do? Is he going to start sacrificing people? And then there's also a lot. We didn't talk about Hua Ryun on stream at all today, and I don't think I want to get into that now. Also looking at how, like, whether or not Hua Ryun really cares about certain people. Romantic love happens to people when they are done claiming in the tower and decided to leave to have a family. I would say yes and no. I would say it's easier for that to happen. I would say it's easier for that to happen when they're done climbing the tower, but I would also say we've seen a lot of romance in the inner tower. Like there's a lot of stuff, and that has led to plenty of turmoil. Let me elaborate on that. I guess so examples of romantic love we have in the story are Zahard Arlene V, which happened either during or after. That was bad. Aguero and Maria was getting there, but that happened before. Androssi's supposedly romantic affection for Baum is during. Any affection Yua might have for Baum would be during. Daniel and Rowan is during the climb. What else? Horyang and Gosang is during the climb. What rankers? Dewan and Cha are like, they're rankers. But yeah, yeah, thanks. That was the first thing I thought of. Yura's parents. They had their child during the climb. Ragwell's mom, she wasn't a ranker, I don't think. I don't think Ragwell's mom was a ranker. She was like in the middle area or something. I think she was still a regular. What was the other person I was gonna say? Oh, crap. Dewan and Shaw are rankers, but it's not like they settled down, you know? Like, they wanted to start a relation. Like, Dewan wants to settle down now. Yeah, I think I brought up Gosang Horyang a little while ago, or like a couple of examples ago. They're during. Dewan and Shaw are still very much involved in the affairs, and they're still very much attracted to each other, I think. So while they are rankers, it's not like they've settled down. I think love, and here's the thing about it too. I'd actually argue it's this is just kind of, this is a bit of an extrapolation on my part. I would argue it is actually easier to fall in love during the climb, and the reason for that is it's if anyone here has seen, I know you have, Raj. If anyone's seen Shinsekai Yori, there's a thing where like people in Shinsekai Yori are kind of wired to, in an intense experience, feel attraction for each other. And I think that's just, but I think there's also like there's evidence in real life. I mean, there's evidence in life too that like having things in common makes you attracted to one another. Like it like is a point of attraction a lot of the time. Being teammates is in the tower is thrusting regulars into, yeah, exactly, like misattribution of arousal. I'm not saying these are going to be, yeah, that's okay, good. I'm saying that's, whether or not it's a misattribution or not in the tower all the time, it's certainly, like, it's certainly something that is very prone to happening in the tower. You're gonna have people with common goals join up, be put in intense situations like tests and like these external things that Baum and stuff get into, like Baum and company get into. It is gonna be natural for them to feel attracted to each other. Some of that's gonna be genuine, some of that's gonna be misattributed. Yeah. But I think it is actually easy to, I think it is pretty easy to fall in love in the climb, whether or not that love, you know, ends up holding or not, but definitely easy for, like, people to think that they're in love. I mean, even probably, I don't know how Daniel got obsessed with Rowan after, like, 600 years. I mean, all they did was, you know, hide, like, bodies for each other. But yeah, exactly, like, I mean, and sometimes, like, one of the things is, like, that does require, I'm not even going to say that's always a misattribution, because that kind of thing does also, like, require you to put an insane amount of trust in someone. Like, you put an insane amount of trust and support in your teammates. So I wouldn't even say that, like, people are necessarily falling in love for the wrong reasons when something like that comes up. But certainly it makes it easier. Definitely. But yeah. So love is very easy. Love is somewhat easy to come by in the tower. You can get love. Your love can get, I guess your love can get in the way of going up because of risk of death of the people you care about. Certain emotion can get in the way of other people. Yeah, I get that. That's true. Annex Senior, yeah! That was positive love. That was definitely, well, it was probably positive love. It really did seem, I mean, the way Onyx's mom would describe it, it did seem like they loved each other genuinely. And they certainly loved their daughter, so that was legit. That was legit. Twisted love we didn't talk about today was Gatto and Louis. Gatto committed war crimes because he loved his son, so that was a fun one. Kanzan also committed war crimes because he loved the canine people in general. So twisted love on their parts too. But yeah, it was complicated, but like it did seem like they cared about each other. Like, it definitely seemed like they cared about each other. Anak Senior definitely loved Anak Junior. I wonder what Anak's real name is. Like, she calls herself Anak, but that probably isn't her name. It's probably like Jane or something. Jane Zahard Schultz, you know? I don't know what the pie cook did. You can't have a guy take the Zahard last name, so it would have to be, like, hyphenated. I don't know. Like, you couldn't have a princess give up, like, the Jihad name, and you couldn't have a guy, like, you couldn't have, a man take the Jihad name, so it'd have to be hyphenated. That's, like, the only way around it. Only way. But, yeah, so that was definitely probably one of the healthier relationships. Yeah, that's true. I can see her dropping it. That's fair. That's fair. I mean, she did run away after all. I've kind of, you know, I find it insane that, yeah, you know, it is funny. I mean, I get that's true. It is kind of ironic that a bunch of what I assume to be single people are talking about love in the tower. Talking about love in fictional characters. You know, I can't begin to understand true love. I haven't been in love. But I think the closest I ever got to love was the one coworker that read Tower of God. I mean, that's I sometimes, bro. If you find a cute girl in your life who reads Tower of God, do not let them go. All right, do not let them go. You gotta hold on to that. But oh well. You win some, you lose some. She also said she dropped Tower of God, so that love quickly faded. But yeah, I think. Yeah, I think it is kind of funny that we're going so in depth on the nature of love, when very few of us have probably actually been in love or been in a romantic relationship. Wow, yeah, I guess we are like most fanfic writers, aren't we? Yeah. Man. Wait. Well, I am a fanfic writer, so I'm both a headcanon and a fanfic writer. So I guess it checks out for me. But what's your excuse, pal? But yeah. I think we really did I don't think we're like I'm sure if more people from Coon Baum Twitter, came to this stream, I'm sure we'd have a lot more contention on the nature of on these kinds of love. But since we use the ToG Discord echo chamber for this, I really do think we took a really good look into. I mean, since it's not scripted, we're probably not getting as deep as we could here. We can't explain this as well as we could right now, but I think we did really dive pretty deeply into what's going on in the relationships, the differences between love and manipulation, or like love and desire, and how that gets twisted in the tower here. So yeah, again, I think at the end of the day, SIU has really presented love as we've discussed, an enabler, and something that allows people to throw away their own humanity to pursue a singular desire. I think that's what it does in the tower. There's a lot that I don't think it explains. There's a lot of things that I don't think it connects to thematically as well. Like stuff for like you could stretch it and make it come in here, but things like the stuff like some stuff in hide and seek, a lot of the hoe things, a lot of the lurker thing, like a lot of the stuff in season 2 with like the untrustworthy room, a lot of the stuff in the workshop battle, and in like even as far as Hell Train, like a lot of the stuff in Hell Train and Cage. I think while love is like, like characters have love, like everybody loves something. Everybody loves something, but love isn't what drives things, and I don't think love is always what's examined by SIU. I think love is featured often by SIU, but it's very rarely examined by him in the story. I think there are other things that SIU chooses to prioritize in terms of his theming, such as power and fate and desire in a grander sense above love. I still find it so funny that I saw someone say Tower of God was about emotions. Everything is. So I mean, society. Society is one of the things too. I think Tower of God is less about society than it used to be. I would say if I only read season 1, I think Tower of God would have said Tower of God was about, like, not parodying, but like examining Korean society. I would say that. I mean, yeah, guys, I've seen Parasite. I think I know what I'm talking about when I reference Korean society. But if Rack falls in love, let's think. Well, okay. So here's the thing. Rack in the workshop says that he wants a girl with some meat on her bones. He doesn't like stick Iwa. So in that sense, Rack probably wants somebody strong-willed, somebody thick, and somebody like forceful. Somebody who's not afraid to hunt. Barrow read my fucking mind. You read my mind. Exactly. Barrow is the perfect match for Rack Wraith Razor. There is nobody better suited. There is nobody better suited. Oh, and I forgot about this. Another positive love is Rack and Aguero. I think Rack genuinely cares about Aguero, and I think Rack is very good at motivating Aguero in a healthy way, in a way that gets Aguero to actually think about his actions, and not like the thing about Rack is Rack doesn't like Rack doesn't manipulate people. Like Rack motivates people without manipulating them. Yeah, I think we're about done. But I will just say that Rack motivates Aguero in a very supportive and positive way that allows Aguero to like where he'll call Aguero out, make him think, but still get him to like come to his own conclusion about something. Like he won't force Aguero to do anything. He won't be subtle with Aguero. He'll just give Aguero his opinion, and like he'll give Aguero with his opinion, and he'll point out why he thinks Aguero is wrong, and that's like he'll criticize Aguero without like goading him into any other choice, because he knows like he still like respects their differences in some regard, even though he makes fun of it. But yeah, that is our discussion for ToG Tuesday on love. So I hope you guys learned a little bit today. I know I learned a bunch by talking through this, and it was really good to hear what everybody was having to say and discussing, just being able to discuss this with people. I would love to discuss this with a wider audience too at one point. Is Evan Kell cursed? Evan Kell is cursed to never love again. Ever since the elephant contracted with Evan Kell, she's never been allowed to love. The only thing she can love is fighting. But yeah, so thanks a lot for coming today, guys. I really love this. This has probably been my favorite ToG Tuesday so far. I really like the discussion we had. I'll put this on my YouTube probably in about a week, and really hope everybody comes next Tuesday. We're gonna have Nia on stream, and we're gonna be having like a little bit of interview and a talk with him on his thoughts about Tower of God. If you look up Boss Jesse on Archive of Our Own, you will see a good parody fanfic called Tower of Biff. That's like an OC focused one. It's like his own climb. That's pretty long. That will take a while to get through. It's like 20 something chapters so far. I don't really write anymore besides like analysis videos now. There's a Kuhn Baum fanfiction on there that's meant to be a parody. It's really gross, but it's really funny in my opinion. Like I wrote it to be like a huge joke. I also like how I like how my own head like kind of lines up with the speech bubble here. You might regret reading it, but it's very funny. It's very gross, but very funny. And I also have some like character focused fanfics. Like I have like a Wangnan focused fic and a Yiwa focused fic. And I have an Evan Kell fic too. That's also just kind of a joke though. So read that stuff on Archive of Your Own if you want. If you want like character analyses, I do have some videos on YouTube. It's 12:19 for me, so it is about time for me to wrap up. This has been the longest like ToG Tuesday stream, I think, and we started a little bit late too. But yeah. So if you're interested in analysis, go to my YouTube channel, Boss Jesse. If you're interested in fanfics, totally go to my Archive of Our Own section. I wouldn't mind some, comments and interactions there, since that stuff doesn't get looked at because I'm not really a Kuhn Baum writer. And then, finally, if you guys are interested, going to be having the Nia interview next week. Definitely encourage you guys to come with that. And beyond that, I'll see you guys maybe later this week for a game stream. Friday for Lore Olympus Fridays, and next Tuesday for our next ToG Tuesday. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. I'll see you on the next one. Good night.